Yeah, it's case number 590 on the calendar in the matter of Sheindlin versus Robinson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Ms. Sheindlin, who is this?
My witness?
Witness to what?
He was a mutual friend between me and Josh, and he knows of the property that Josh has of mine.
All right. You and the defendant lived together for a period of time. You have a child. The child also lived with you. You separated. When you left, you tried to take what you claimed to be property that belongs to you, a television and your son's bedroom furniture.
Correct.
In addition, you want Mr. Robinson to sign over the title to a van that was jointly purchased by the two of you, each having contributed $300 towards its purchase. So far, do I have your case down pat?
Yes, except the son isn't his.
No, your son.
My son.
Your son. Mr. Robinson says that the television and the bedroom furniture, which was in fact the bedroom furniture that was in your son's room, was purchased by him.
Correct.
Something that you don't deny.
It was purchased by both of us.
How much was it purchased for by both of you?
We both paid for half of the furniture. The TV, though, I paid for myself, which I do have the receipt on my credit card.
And you want that furniture.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson says he wants some rent, which is nonsense because you never paid rent. He also wants you to pay him for what he put into the van, which is $300 if you want to keep it. Otherwise, he wants the van. When did you purchase this van for $600?
In November.
November of 2009?
Correct.
Is that right, Mr. Robinson?
That is correct.
How much did you put into the van?
$300.
How much did you put into the van?
I paid $300 plus $522.28 to fix the van.
Who has the van?
I have it in my possession.
Who has the van? If you want to keep the van, you pay him what he put into it, which is $300. If you don't want to keep the van, he gets the van and you get $300. What's your pleasure?
Keep the van.
Fine. On your counterclaim, you are awarded $300, sir. You will now sign over the title to the van to her.
Which is already done.
Perfect. Give it to her. Great. Now let's get to the TV. Who purchased the TV?
Sheindlin purchased the TV when she was living with the baby's father, Leonard.
Okay, so it's her TV.
Well
is not an answer.
I'm about to give you the story. She was living at Leonard's house, and she had called me because she had an apartment at the time, but she couldn't afford it, so she was having her friend rent it out. This is after she left my house, but she didn't want her TV to get damaged. So she said, Josh, can you please go over to my house and grab the TV? Just take it.
No.
Just a second. So, you did?
I did. She told me I could have the TV because she has been at my house freeloading off of me, back and forth. She's getting away.
That's not true.
Don't speak or I'll dismiss your case. Do you understand? Go ahead.
Okay, so I take the TV. It's been at my house ever since.
Good. She gets the TV. TV, you get the $300. Now we're going to get to the baby's furniture.
Okay.
Who purchased it, Miss Sheindlin?
We both purchased the furniture.
How much did you put in?
I believe it was about $550 to $600.
Mr. Robinson, who purchased the baby's furniture?
That would have been me.
You have a receipt for it?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see it. Did you pay for it in cash or on a credit card?
I paid for it in cash.
You have some place to show me where you took out the cash?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see it.
2 days before I purchased it, I pulled out, I believe it was $600 out of my savings account.
Angela's check deposited was $500 on the 2nd of December. Did she put in her check regularly into your account?
That was actually the rent check, the only rent check that I had received from her.
Okay. And withdrew for furniture $1,127, $600. This was paid for in cash.
And the total, I believe, was just a little over $400.
Right. Do you have any proof that you paid any part of this?
I don't. I get tips. I'm a hairstylist, so I have just cash on me that I gave to him. The other, when I said $550, I was talking also about a TV stand, which he had of mine, which I bought the same day I bought the TV.
The TV stand is at my place right now. It is in the garage.
Did it come with the television?
Correct.
Okay, so she'll get the TV and the TV stand. Fine. You get your $300, plus you get to keep the furniture. Okay? Furniture is in his house.
Why does he need children's furniture? He has no kids. I paid my half for it.
No, I don't believe that you paid anything for it.
I mean, everything he's saying is
Listen to me.
lies.
Listen to me. He bought the furniture for your child to use in his house.
It was our home.
Clearly not. You left.
I left for good reason, because he was
Good.
controlling and...
I don't care why you left. That's for another show. You want to buy furniture for your child? Buy furniture with the child.
I'm a single
Listen
mom.
to me.
I bought it once.
Is this infant's furniture, child's furniture, or regular furniture?
Absolutely not. I have a picture of it on my
I'd like
camera.
to see it.
Sure. That is the bed. And if you push to the left, it goes to the dresser.
It's a twin bed.
When did you move out?
I moved out, actually, I started staying with my parents in the beginning of January because I got sick, and I never went back.
January 2010.
Yes.
Where has your child been sleeping since January?
He's been sleeping in a pack and play.
How old is he?
He'll be 2 in June.
How large a house does your parents have?
My parents had a large house. I don't live with them anymore.
Who do you live with?
I have a roommate. I live in Sussex with me and my son and a roommate.
Do you have any use for this bed?
Actually, I do. You know, if she's more than willing to buy it for me, I'll let her have it.
How much would you sell it to her for?
What I paid for it.
It's not worth what you paid for it anymore.
It's never been used. Even though after I bought that furniture, she still had her kid staying in the pack and play because she wouldn't get a mattress for the bed. We never had a chance to get a mattress for the bed.
So are you telling me that this picture that you showed me is the way the furniture looks in your house now?
Correct, as of right now.
Where do you work, Miss Jeanson?
I work right now at the men's hair house.
Where is the father of this child?
He lives in Madison.
Do you pay support?
Rarely.
Do you have a child support order?
I do.
What's the child support order?
It's $50 a month, but I've gotten $50 in
What
the
does he
last
do?
year and a half. He's a student,
How old is he?
28.
He's 28? Must be slow.
I know all about him, if you'd like to know.
No, I wouldn't. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me carefully.
I listened to her. I wouldn't be between you.
Follow my words.
Yeah?
You said summer. She said fall.
Last year, fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And later today,
This is completely ridiculous because
No, to suggest, sir, that I am ridiculous is irritating. Before you tell me that something I say is ridiculous, go and graduate from law school.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Angela Jeanson says ex-boyfriend Joshua Robinson owes for the return of a television, furniture, and the title to a van. Joshua is countersuing for 2 months' rent and for the cost of the van in question.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, what I really think would be nice if you did is to give her the bed so a kid has something to sleep on. And if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay, thank you. I don't
I'm
want to.
telling you, if you don't want to,
I've given her enough handouts. Enough handouts.
okay.
Nothing was a handout.
Okay, here you go.
He just tries to keep things so he can still keep a piece of me. It's so he has
Ms.
control.
Jeanson, listen to me. You have your van. The titles are now in your name. The television set is yours. It's purchased by you. It's yours. The bedroom furniture is not child's furniture. He can use that for his guest room. He paid for it. That's what I find. I find that he paid for it. So he gets to keep it. If he wanted to be nice, he could turn it over to you. He doesn't want to be nice because it didn't end well. Anything else your witness wants to tell me? You don't have to get up unless you have something important to say.
I know that she paid for half of the furniture. I verbally heard the conversations.
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
So would I.
Tell me your last name.
My name is Jason Canepa.
Take your hands out of your pockets.
I know that
Don't tell me what you know. Tell me what you heard and where you heard it and when you heard it.
during the times of us all hanging out as friends, I had,
Look at me.
I had heard conversations
No, just
between
tell me
all
when.
of us.
Tell me
It was
when.
last summer.
Last summer.
About furniture being bought and that she did pay for half of it.
Shut! Furniture being bought.
I know for a fact that she paid for half
You
of
heard
furniture.
you don't know for a fact anything.
All right, well, not for a fact then.
Last summer.
Not summer, it was fall.
No, you just said last
Well,
summer. She said fall. You said
I know
summer.
well, whatever.
Am I correct? You said last summer. Look,
She paid for half
listen
of it.
to me carefully.
I listened to her. I wouldn't be between you.
Follow my words.
Yeah?
You said summer. She said fall.
Last year, fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay. Have we resolved the issues now?
Yes.
5 days. Pick up your stuff. Could she come to your house or you want to?
She's not
I have
allowed
a
in my house.
restraining order against him.
Which
How do you
was
propose-
dismissed as of yesterday.
How do you? Well, I certainly don't plan on putting the two of you together. How do you propose to get your television set?
I don't know, but I can send my dad over there to get it.
No. Sorry, no.
How do you want to get the television set to her house?
I can drop it off at her house.
He can't.
When
We
you
can figure something out with the
listen,
Heartland Police Department.
That's fine. Do you work?
Absolutely. I work every single day.
From what time to what time?
I work at 6:30 and I get off sometimes around 5 o'clock.
At 7 p.m. On April 8th. You will be at the police department, and you will be at the police department, and you can drop the television set off there with the stand. Anything else?
She's going to try to say that I damaged the TV stand, but when she asked me to pick up that TV at her apartment that one day, Me and her dad and his friend picked up the TV stand, and it popped out. It was one of those TV stands that you had to put together, and she put it together, so it was all rickety and everything else.
No, I didn't put it together, actually.
I have
I don't
pictures of it
care.
also.
Whatever it is, don't do any more damage to it than is already done.
Can it hold the
Return
TV
it.
still?
I don't know. Is the story that he told me accurate, that you asked him to go and get the television set from someplace? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I caught her cheating one too many times, and just the lying and the cheating and the drug abuse, I wasn't going to put up with it.
Actually, he cheated on me with my best friend.
Her friends basically came at me and said, please give her another shot, that she loved me, and I was the best thing that's ever happened to her.
It was his controlling, possessing, arrogant ways that ended the relationship.
She's still trying to pull money from me.
Stay away from arrogant people.
A huge weight is lifted off my shoulders. I never have to see her again after today.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Titone versus Myrie, step forward, please.
21-year-old Matthew Titone is suing motorist Teresa Myrie for running into him while he was riding his bike.
Mr. Titone, you were on your bicycle. Miss Myrie was in her car. You collided. You claim she's responsible for your bicycle damage. She says you're responsible for her car damage.
Correct.
The accident was your fault. You say the accident was her fault.
Right.
Let me see.
I was going westbound, and I just got into the crosswalk.
Just a second. Were you on the sidewalk or were you in the street?
I was on the sidewalk.
Are you permitted to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk where you live?
Well,
Or is not an answer. Either yes or no.
no,
Then why were you riding your bicycle on the sidewalk?
because it was locked up on a bike rack right here, and I hadn't even gotten a full block. And
Oh, you don't have to get a full block. You unlock your bike. You walk it across the sidewalk into where you're supposed to ride it.
well, I was going to use the crosswalk to get onto this side of the street, and I never made it that far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
A bike? A car. I wouldn't go in front of a car where the driver wasn't looking at me.
I assumed she'd look both ways.
Well, that makes you stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Bicyclist Matthew Titone says motorist Teresa Myrie ran into him while he was riding through a crosswalk. Teresa is countersuing for the damage to her car.
Okay. So you're on the sidewalk where you're not supposed to be. Did you see the defendant's car?
Yes,
From where did you see the defendant's car?
I was on the sidewalk, and
Where were you? 100 feet away, 200 feet away, 50 feet away when you saw her car?
I was around 50 feet away.
And tell me what you observed, Mr. Titone.
She was stopped in the middle of the crosswalk, and I went...
Yeah, just a second. She was stopped in the middle of the crosswalk, Mr. Titone, and what was she attempting to do? Because you could see that.
She was waiting her turn to go.
And you were 50 feet away.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
me what you decided to do.
Since she was at a complete stop, I thought that I could go in front of her, and she wasn't looking, and the minute I got in front of her, she accelerated to go and hit me and knocked me off the bike and totally totaled the bike, and I...
Let's go back and tell me.
Okay.
You decided to go around her.
Right.
And where was she looking?
She was looking off this way,
She was looking to the left.
to the left. Correct.
And you were coming from the right.
Correct.
Let me understand this. You see her car stopped at a stop sign. You are riding your bicycle where you shouldn't be. She stopped, looking in the opposite direction from where you're coming, and you decide to cut across her.
Right.
Does that sound intelligent to you?
It doesn't sound stupid.
Sounds stupid to me.
It's a crosswalk. I mean...
It sounds stupid to me.
What's
you see
stupid?
What's stupid is if you see a driver, whether they're in the right or they're wrong, and if they're looking in the opposite direction from where you're coming, and you have a 50-foot leeway to stop your bike and to say, she's not looking in my direction, and I don't know if she sees me. And your choice was, whether she's looking in my direction or not, I'm going to go in front of her car. That's what you did. That's what you just told me. And that's why I say it's stupid. And you're not going to change my mind, Mr. Titone. It's stupid, whether you were in the right or the wrong. If you're a bike, a car, a bike, a car. You knocked off the bike, you can get killed, you can get hurt, you can, you know. So I wouldn't go in front of a car where the driver wasn't looking at me.
I assume she'd look both ways.
Well, that makes you stupid. Because she's looking in this way, and you assumed that she would come back and look at you, maybe.
Shouldn't that
But
make
she
her
didn't.
stupid?
No, makes you stupid. She's not on a bike. You're on the bike. You're on the bike. She's in a car. You know, sometimes you stop at a stop sign. You turn to the left, you turn to the right, you turn to the left again, and before you turn around, somebody's coming from this way. And you've done everything you can to avoid a problem. But in your case, you saw the driver of the car looking in the opposite direction. And you went in front of the car anyway. That doesn't make you a genius, Mr. Titone. Step back. Now, you're driving your car. You stopped at a stop sign. What are you supposed to look out for?
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians, whether they're smart or not.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Being on a bicycle is almost like being a pedestrian because they can get killed. So what happened when you hit them?
What I remember is a little bit different than that.
Well, then go over there and show me what you remember.
So as I was pulling forward, I was looking left, and I wasn't halfway up into the crosswalk. I was stopped a little bit further back, and I remember putting my car in park immediately and getting out and asking him if he was okay. But the fact that...
And when you got out of the car and you asked him if he was okay, what did he say?
Well, he was shouting profanities, and then he said he was fine. I asked him if he needed a ride home. He said he declined.
Sit back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com or call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Okay. How much damage was done to your bicycle?
Both tires were completely bent along with the frame, and it totals up to $158.
And what kind of damage was done to your car?
I have a dent on my right front part of my hood. That's really it. There's some scrapes on the bumper, but those can be buffed out. And the amount of $495.85.
Whose fault do you think it was?
Hers, Your Honor.
Whose fault do you think it was?
I think it was his fault.
You think that each one of you had certain responsibility for this accident?
Certainly.
Yes.
I do too. I think you were being a wise guy, and I think you weren't watching carefully enough. So pay for your bicycle, pay for your car. Bye.
Wait, this is completely ridiculous because
No, this is ridiculous. To suggest, sir, that I am ridiculous is irritating. What I'm telling you is, from 50 feet away, you saw the defendant's car stopped at a crosswalk. You decided that as you approached the car, despite the fact that the defendant was looking in the opposite direction, you were going to proceed across the front of her car. That, to me, is culpable. So I don't care whether you think it's ridiculous or not. Before you tell me that something I say is ridiculous, go and graduate from law school. Goodbye.
Well, due to his negligence in riding on the sidewalk in this in the opposite direction.
You may step out. Yes, case number 542 on the calendar in the matter of Hunter versus DeLeo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Price has been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Mr. Hunter, it is your claim that the defendant, in an act of road rage, maced you. Mr. DeLeo says that he was defending himself because you were actually attacking him, and he's counterclaiming for having him falsely arrested. So why don't you, Mr. Hunter, let's start from the beginning. On what date did this happen?
20th day of April.
What were you driving?
My 1500 Chevy pickup truck.
What time of the day was this?
8 o'clock in the morning, Your Honor.
Describe to me what happened, Mr. Hunter.
As I got to the 2nd Avenue in Glenwood, Mr. Delaney was behind me, and as the light changed to green, he honked his horn, and he proceeded to pass me. So I'm going to work, so I don't want nothing to hold me up, so I proceeded back in front of him.
All right, so now let's stop a little bit so that we make it crystal clear what happened, Mr. Hunter. You were in front of Mr. DeLeo.
Yes.
There was a light.
Yes, ma'am.
The light changed. According to you, you weren't moving fast enough, so he honked his horn.
That's correct.
He came around and passed you.
Yes, ma'am.
Got in front of you.
That's right.
Then you came around and got in front of him.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now you're in front of him.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, now I'm in front of him, and he cannot come back in front of me because
He couldn't come in front of you?
He couldn't, no, ma'am. Well,
why?
Thank you. Recently here, they started changing the golf course to one lane, making it accessible to bikes to ride on the side of the road.
So now you're in a single lane, and
Yes,
he's
ma'am.
behind you.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
And I proceeded to the next major traffic light, which was Candler, where the accident happened in Glenwood. And he came up on the left side of me, on my side of the truck, and proceeded.
Just a minute. He came up on your side of the truck so that there's a passenger seat in between the two of you?
Correct.
Fine. So there's a passenger seat in his car.
Yes, ma'am.
In between the two of you.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Okay. As he was yelling, what's your problem? I happened to turn and look over that way. He had his arm over across the passenger seat and had let down the window about so much. And he started spraying me with mace, or pepper spray they call it. And that's the stain of how intensely it was on my shirt.
I'm not interested in looking at your shirt, sir. I have no idea what that is.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I have no idea what that is. So you're telling me he sprayed something at you, but from his side, over the passenger side, in between your two cars, and he sprayed something at you.
Correct.
And then what happened, Mr. Hunter?
Okay, and now I proceeded to try to get out of his way, a stream of fire. He just kept spraying it, and I started feeling around in my truck, which I know I had some tools up under my seat. So I came out my truck when he kept on spraying me, but the light changed, and I couldn't make it to him.
You're missing a whole big piece there, Mr. Hunter.
I came out my truck.
But first you got something from your truck.
Yes, yeah.
What did you get from your truck, Mr.
Something
Hunter?
to stop him from spraying.
What did you get from your truck?
A trailer hitch.
And show me with your hands, how big is that?
It's about that long.
And what's it made of?
It's made of steel.
So you bent down, you got yourself a big piece of metal, you got out of your car in order to get away from him.
Yes.
I'm just following you.
Okay.
You got out of your car in order to get away from him.
Yes.
And?
I couldn't get away from his hands, so I proceeded.
How about just pulling your car away?
It's a red light there, Your Honor.
No, so you just left the car at the red light, you got a big metal pipe and went up to him.
Yeah.
That's what you were going to do.
That's
what
right.
were you going to do when you got to him, Mr. Hunter?
Knock that can out of his hand.
Knock the can out of his hand?
That's correct.
How were you going to do that? By poking through his window?
If I can get my eyes open, I would have tried to hit, but I couldn't get my eyes open.
I'm having a difficult time believing you, Mr. Hunter.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Okay. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. So you're outside of the car with the pipe.
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened next?
And he could see the light change, and I did get a glance of his hand, but by the time I swung, it accidentally hit his back glass, and he left. He pulled off.
Now, why don't you tell me what happened, Mr. DeLeo?
Okay, ma'am, I was...
Because you have a counterclaim, and that counterclaim is for false arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
The expenses. I was behind him at a red light. He paused and turned green, so I kind of toot nothing,
All right, so you honked the horn. That's just ridiculous.
Well,
go ahead. Keep going.
So I made a right turn in front of the guy. At that point...
Now, just a second. Why did you do that, sir?
I'm
just asking you a question.
No problem. I was going to work. I was in a hurry. So but I did very civilized. I right side of his thing, put a blinker on, got in front of him. At that point, it goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane. And that's when he passed me, almost running me off the road. And that kind of irked me a little bit. So we pull up next to the red light. I'm on the left, he's on the right. Not a beautiful spring day. Our windows are down. Looked over at him and said, "What are you doing? You could have caused a wreck. What are you doing?" I mean, still bickering back and forth.
Just a second. You're screaming inappropriately at each other.
Yeah, like 2 school kids, immature.
I got it.
So I said something to the effect of, "You crazy old fool, you're going to kill somebody." And he says, "You crazy old fool, I'll show you crazy old fool." And he's rummaging down on his floor for something. At that point, I'm getting kind of defensive. I mean, so I had a mace in my hand, and he came up, took his belt off, came out of the car, and then he proceeded to raise it. The light turned green. I took off, and it smashed my window so hard that he put a hole in my door.
How did he get maced?
What do you mean?
How did he get mace in his face?
When he was coming out,
you left out that part of your story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it was when he came out of the car. I wanted to repel him, so as he had the pipe in his hand, I maced him.
Where was he standing when you maced him?
Between our cars.
Between your cars?
Yes, ma'am. It was like 5 feet gap between 2 cars at a red light.
So he was standing next to the passenger side of your car?
Yes, ma'am, he did, with a pipe in his hand. And he hit my car so hard, I fell to the grass of that.
I'd like to see where he hit your
He
car.
put a hole in my door, middle door, that I have to bond to it now.
I'd like to see, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to see where it was hit.
And of course, the back window is shattered. So you see the dent in that car, how...
Just a second. Is this the passenger door?
Rear passenger door, yes, ma'am.
Rear passenger door.
Ma'am. When the light turned green, I stepped on it to get out of there, and he didn't have the angle to get my door.
I'd like to see the police report, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ernest Hunter says fellow motorist Jason DeLeo pepper sprayed him during an incident of road rage. Jason is countersuing for car damages and a false arrest.
All right, now, Mr. DeLeo.
Yes, ma'am.
The story that you told the police was somewhat different from the one you just told me.
How so?
Very easy. You advised the police that Mr. Hunter,
Right.
at the light, began to undo his seatbelt, and that's when you sprayed him.
Well, that was medication. He's coming out.
That's when you sprayed him while he was still in his car. Then you said you sprayed him 2 more times once he got out of the car with the crowbar.
Right.
But you told the police that you sprayed him because you were at the light screaming at each other like 2 idiots. And then he undid his seatbelt and was probably going down to get a crowbar.
Which is showing.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
But he hadn't been down there to get the crowbar, Mr. DeLeo, because otherwise he wouldn't have gotten sprayed in the eyes, which he was sprayed in the eyes. Sprayed in the eyes, according to the police. So what you said to the police was accurate, or what you're telling me is accurate.
Well,
Those are 2 different things, sir.
Right, I understand that. When he was making the gestures to go down on this to the floorboard, he came back under his belt. At that point, to stop the action happening,
Stop the action happening, you take off in your car.
But there's a red light. There's crossing traffic. I mean, I would love to have done that. But I mean, this guy was going to part my hair with a crowbar, and I didn't want that to happen.
Why don't you roll up your windows?
How's that going to break?
Why don't you roll up your windows, Mr. DeLeo?
He would have broken my window.
No.
There's no doubt that he got out of his car with a pipe. He admitted to that.
Mr. DeLeo, you were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
And subsequently, the charges
Were dropped.
Yes,
ma'am.
And had you filed a complaint against Mr. Hunter?
No, I did not.
Then you did not.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that he maced you before you got out of your car.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I do. And he has to pay for that.
Thank you.
I also think that you were a bit of an idiot to respond to him by getting out of your car instead of locking yourself into your car and pulling away by bending down and getting this crowbar that just happened to be in the front seat of your car and getting out and smashing his car. That's not a response.
No, ma'am.
But I believe he maced you first. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500, and Mr. DeLeo, your counterclaims dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's just our testosterone.
It was upsetting somebody to spray you.
We're grown men. We should know better.
Oh, I never had nothing burn so bad in my life.
But we didn't, and this transpired.
Tried water just make it worse and worse.
And I think we're both a little sorry that happened.
Just stay calm and don't feed into the fire.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hollis versus Parisi, step forward, please.
Cameron Hollis is suing his ex-girlfriend, Heather Parisi, for loans to buy new furniture and the return of 2 cable boxes.
Mr. Hollis, this used to be your girlfriend. You claim she owes you some money for furniture that you purchased for her.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no question, Miss Parisi, let's start out with this. Now, there's no question that Mr. Hollis paid for the furniture.
Correct.
When did he pay for the furniture for you?
Mid-January.
Now, at that time, Mr. Hollis had been out of your apartment for how long?
A month.
Well, he had been out of the house at your request because you had him taken out by the police.
Yes.
And you had a protective order?
Yes.
So in January, you paid the rent by yourself?
Correct.
When did you first speak to Mr. Hollis after you paid your rent alone in January?
Within a day or 2.
Did you call him or did he call you?
He contacted me.
And what did you say to him?
I don't recall what the conversation
What
was.
did he say to you?
He was very upset about the relationship being over.
Mm-hmm.
And that he would go to counseling and some extensive counseling and also relationship counseling, try and work the situation out.
And what did you say to him?
I just said basically trial and error. I have to see before I believe.
And?
I honestly haven't seen a change in anything.
Well, so when did you see him again?
Approximately a week before he purchased the furniture.
Now, you tell me, Mr. Hollis, what she said to you when you went into the furniture store.
Well, first of all, it was the day before we were together. I believe it was January 12th. We stayed together that night. The next day...
Where did you stay together?
At the home.
Go ahead.
So the next day we were out messing around. We come by a furniture store. We'd seen a couch that was on sale for $999. She said, I like this couch. If you were to purchase that for me, I'll give you back the money I'm getting on the 16th from an ex-husband. So I thought about it. I mean, we were there probably 2 hours, and I thought and thought. You know, she came across a table with $490 or something. I have the receipt here, which was on sale also. And I finally, you know, because I do anything for the woman, I told her, sure, if I'm going to get paid back, I'll do this for you. So I did purchase the furniture.
Where did you stay that night?
I stayed with her because I helped her put the furniture together. February 6th comes around. She calls me and she said, would you like to go out and do something tonight? We had a plan for that night to do something, and that's when all heck broke loose. That. Well,
what happened to the 16th? You didn't get your money.
I talked to her many times. She came up with excuses, but she purchased a car, she purchased bed sets, she purchased new dogs during this time. That's what kind of made me mad. Like, where's all this money coming from? But you can't. She's like, well, I haven't got the money from my ex-husband. That's all from my paychecks. I told you I'd pay you when I get my money from my ex-husband. But she purchased all this other stuff. That's what kind of was ticking me off. And I was like, you know what? I think I got to go to court about this.
Mm-hmm. What happened on the 6th of February?
We were supposed to go out that night. We planned, all day. We talked. She kept up to 10 o'clock at night. She was saying, I'm getting in the shower, this and that. I go by the home. She wasn't there. I know the friends she hang out with, and I know where they hang out. So I went there, to talk to her. Like, why lie to me? Why not just...
Where did you go?
To a bar in Portland.
Go ahead.
So I walked inside the nightclub. I saw her there, which I knew she was going to be there. And I approached her. I said, can we go outside and talk? No, I don't need nothing to say to you. I was like, you were just, 10 minutes ago telling me that you're in the shower. So I said, I think we should go out and talk about this. No, you can leave. And I was like, okay, well, when I was going to leave, I was drinking a beer that I purchased right then, and I poured it on her head. And to my, I'm thinking, he ruined my night, I'm going to ruin hers. So I walked out. I get down the bar. I get hit in the back of the head by Miss Parisi. Then I just walked out, kept walking. Have not spent any time with her since. No, I'm sorry. It was over, probably a month later, then we decided to go to dinner again.
So you went to dinner again after that?
Yes, we have been together.
Was it pleasant?
Yeah.
Did you call her afterwards?
Have I called her? Yes, we talked.
Since then, when was the last time you talked other than today?
2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Go.
In December, Mr. Hollis verbally attacked me.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to know what happened in the furniture store.
We were walking around the mall. There was a furniture store in that mall, and I had been talking about getting new furniture. And so I said that there was a sectional in there that I liked, and I was going to buy it when I got money. We went to leave. My 5-year-old and I are standing by the escalator, and Cameron says, well, if you let me sleep at your house for 3 nights, I'll buy you the furniture. Fine, be my guest. I'm not going to say no to that. I'm not stupid. And so then...
I take book on that.
Well, yeah, I've made some bad choices, but then I let him sleep at the house. The next morning we got up
Where
immediately.
Where did he sleep in the house?
I'm in my bed.
So you got property in exchange for sex?
No.
What happened on February 6th?
On February 6th,
Because you have a counterclaim here for assault.
I had planned out to go with my girlfriends, and I made it clear to him I had plans to go out with my girlfriends. And I was in the shower, and Cameron kept texting me that I can go out, and I won't go out with him, and back and forth like that, and I can make time for my friends.
You'd already gotten furniture, right?
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the club with my friends, a club that I do not go to. I've been to 2 times in my life. And I was just sitting there enjoying the company of my friends. And then one of my friends asked if I knew the guy who was looking at us that looked crazy. And I turned and I was like, my heart dropped, my stomach dropped. Immediate fear in me. He came to the table and asked me to go outside. I said, no, I'm not going outside with you. You're going to hurt me. I'm not going outside. He goes, I don't think you want your friends to hear what I have to say. I go, I don't want to hear what you have to say, but if you need to say something, say it. He goes, your friends are just going to drop you off here with some guys and just leave. I'm like, I turned to my friend. And
Ms. Parisi, don't you understand, madam, that men don't like to be made fools of? So when you say you're not stupid, and that's why you took the furniture, I think you are stupid for taking the furniture. Because if you weren't interested in Mr. Hollis, and you knew you weren't interested in him long-term because you had already been involved with him long-term, and you got rid of him. If you were interested in him, you would pass up going out partying with your girlfriends to spend an evening with a guy that you care about. Clearly, that wasn't the case. It was just good enough for him to lay out the money for this furniture for you. That makes you stupid. He's not entitled to pour beer over your head.
Yes,
you understand that, and you have to pay her for that. That's going to cost you $50. That's a very expensive beer because she has a counterclaim for a lot more than that. She'd like about $3,000. That's not going to happen in this lifetime. So On your counterclaim, Mr. Hollis is going to pay you $50 for his bad behavior in pouring a beer on you because he was embarrassed because you wouldn't speak to him. He, on the other hand, is going to get all the money for the furniture because I believe him, and I don't believe you. I think you're a user. $1,497.
That's case number 506 on the calendar in the matter of Saunders versus Clore.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Ms. Saunders, it's your claim that the defendant had you falsely arrested for vandalizing her car and you want damages.
Yes.
How do you know each other?
We used to work together at a telemarketing place in Redondo
When
Beach.
did you work together?
It was 2009 from July till September.
Who worked there first?
The defendant.
When you went to work there, did you have any difficulty with her?
Yes. Actually, my second day of working, she had just came back from vacation, and she had started arguments and problems since that day.
Well, describe it to me.
She was sitting across from where I was sitting, and she would sit there and look at me like trying to interrogate me or something, like giving me like an evil look, kind of. And then also, she would go around. There was a big incident that started at work. I was warming up food for lunch. Something accidentally overspilled, and she took it all out of proportion.
Well,
she
explain to me how she took it all out of proportion. You were heating something up, it spilled over, and?
Yeah, so she made a big scene. She was like, you need to come in here and clean this up. This is not how we do things around here. Made a whole big ordeal. I was like, I didn't know.
What happened? You didn't clean up the mess that was made?
I didn't know it was a mess made. I just took it out. We only had 15 minutes for lunch, so I just took it out and we just went to go eat. I didn't even double check. I said, it's no problem. I'm grown. I clean up after myself. So I went to go clean it up, and then she was still talking and nagging. I just let it go. People at work who had been working there before me told me the kind of person she was.
You can't tell me what anybody told you.
Okay.
Now tell me when you were arrested.
It was September the 9th, 2009.
Had you ever been arrested before?
No, never.
You were arrested at work?
Yes.
And you were arrested for vandalism. How long did you stay in jail?
For 4 days and 3 nights.
What was your bail?
It was originally $50,000, and the judge dropped it to $10,000.
And what was the charge?
It was a felony count of vandalism.
And you had never been arrested before?
I've never been in any kind of problems with the law before.
Okay. Are you still working at the same place?
No, ma'am.
Are you?
No.
When did you leave?
When I went to jail, she had a restraining order put against me while I was in jail, so I couldn't return to work. I got fired because going to jail.
So around the beginning of September?
Yes.
And when did you leave, Miss Clore?
November.
Where did you go?
I just quit completely because I had moved at the time and I didn't want her to follow me home again.
Okay. Tell me when your car was vandalized.
It was on August 8th. I woke up and getting ready to go to work. I was running late that morning, and I noticed that my car had been vandalized.
How?
It was scratched just from one side of the car, on the back of the trunk, and all up the passenger side as well. Mm-hmm. My first reaction, I didn't know what to do, but then luckily I found the note that was put on my windshield wiper. It was a Post-it note from a woman named Mary Smith.
Mary Smith?
Yes.
And where did Mary Smith live?
As far as I know, she lived out of town up north. It says here that she was in Atascadero, California, but she was visiting some family in the area.
What's the name of the family?
I don't know.
I'd like to see the police report since you didn't witness anything that happened.
I also have photos.
Who picked up Miss Smith to go down to the police station?
I did.
Where did you pick her up from, Miss
Where
Clore?
my car was parked when she witnessed the event.
Really? Mm-hmm. Tell me how that all came about.
I called her on the phone.
You called her at the number that you say was on this note that she left you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you called her and she lived out of the area?
She was in town visiting some friends, or her family.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that must have been in your neighborhood?
Yes, I'm guessing.
You're guessing? Where was your car vandalized?
I was parked on around the corner from my house on...
So close to your house?
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to continue.
No, I want to ask my own questions.
No problem.
So instead of picking her up, because after all, she was being a good Samaritan, this woman, you agreed to meet at the place where your car had been vandalized.
Yes, ma'am.
So that she could accompany you to the police station.
Yes, ma'am.
And she accompanied you to the police station, this woman who you never met before, this really good Samaritan, whose sister's name, who she was visiting, and with whom she was in the car, it says name unknown. And you certainly don't know where she was staying because of this convenient, I'll meet you by my car. You get where I'm going?
Not really, Your Honor.
We're going to get there soon. And then Smith said she saw somebody who matches the description of the plaintiff keying your car. And she took down the license plate number. And then Smith said she left a note on your car. And when the officer ran the license plate number, turned out to be her car. Okay. Now, you got a restraining order. She spent a couple of days in jail. It's my understanding that you didn't appear at any of the 3 hearings that was set in this case. Is that right?
No, I did appear at one. I was subpoenaed to court.
You were subpoenaed?
Yes.
Well, before you were subpoenaed to court by the district attorney, did not the district attorney ask you to appear at hearings?
Yes.
And did you appear at those hearings?
I appeared at one that I was subpoenaed to.
That's not my question. How many hearings were you asked to appear at?
Just the one.
Just one. Did Mary Smith appear at the hearing?
No.
Did you call her?
No.
Why not?
Because the detective advised me not to be in contact with her.
Why not? Here's somebody who was so interested. She, according to what I've read, left you a note, met you, went down to the police precinct with you, told them the story about what she allegedly saw, gave an email address to the detective at some point when he asked for it so that he could do a photo lineup from her driver's license, which at this point they had because she had been identified through her driver's license. She did all of those things, but she never appeared at the trial. And you never called her.
No, ma'am.
Well, I think I'm going to try to call her.
She said that she moved out of the country. I don't
Mary Smith doesn't move out of the country. A 59-year-old Mary Smith doesn't move out of the country.
I don't know, ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Keisha Saunders says former co-worker Michelle Clore had her falsely arrested for vandalizing her car. She is suing for $5,000.
Hello, this is Judge Judy Sheindlin. Who am I speaking to? Linda Watt. Can you tell me, please, how you know Michelle Clore? You don't. Can you tell me in what town you live? You live in Wyoming. Do you know somebody by the name of Mary Smith? She had your cell phone number as of a few months ago. Well, how long have you had this phone number? Person who answered that cell phone number that was given here, his name's not Mary Smith. Shouldn't want to tell me how long she had this phone number because it's only a few months old. She says she lives in Wyoming. So it's odd that the person whose cell phone number is on this police report, not out of the country, lives in Wyoming, and hung up on me when I asked how long you had the phone number. All that's very odd, Miss Clore.
I agree.
Very odd. When things are odd, I find that suspect. Very suspect. Now, you told the police that in the past she had threatened you at work. Tell me about that.
She had mentioned that...
No, don't look over there. Look over here.
Sorry. She had mentioned that before that she was going to fight me after work, that she carries a box.
Tell me what she said. Did she say, I'm going to fight you after work? Nobody says that.
No.
Doesn't sound normal.
She was speaking to another coworker, and she said, F that white B, and...
Just a minute. And you heard this?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what was that about?
I'm not sure.
It had to happen over something. She may have said it, but it had to happen over something.
as far as I know, it all started when I asked her to clean her mess out of the microwave. That wasn't just the first time that it happened. It continued to happen.
But she was a slob. She was a slob.
She
I mean, if it's
clean
what
up
you're
after
saying is
herself,
true,
yes.
she was a slob.
Yes, ma'am.
And anybody who opens up a microwave and takes out their stuff could see whether or not they've spilled it and it's overflowed or not.
Yes, ma'am.
And it just is somebody who's not caring and not respectful of other people who are using the machine. I agree with you. I actually agree with you. And I don't believe the story that you didn't know if you were in a rush, you only had 15 minutes and you didn't see that it was messy inside. I don't believe that, but that's not urgent. So after it all started over that, because she didn't clean up her mess, you must have said something to her.
No, I never said anything to her until the next day she approached me and she told me that she didn't like the way that I spoke to her.
Well, tell me, if she didn't like, so you're telling me that you didn't say anything to her?
Not other than I asked her to clean her mess out.
Well, tell me what you said to her.
I put a napkin in the microwave and I said, Keisha, can you please clean your mess?
Is that what she said to you?
No.
No, I don't believe that. I do. You have anything you want to say to me? Yes or no?
No.
I didn't think so. I don't believe this whole story about a witness.
I'm sorry.
I don't believe it. I don't believe there was a witness. I believe your car got keyed. I don't think you keyed your own car, because that would have been stupid for you to key your own car. But I don't think there was a witness, because it doesn't make sense.
I agree
What
with
you're
you.
telling me doesn't make sense. That you were able to contact the witness at the same phone number that I just called. The witness's name is not Mary Smith, but some other name.
I don't know, Your Honor.
I don't know either. And if I don't know, it doesn't make sense. If it doesn't make sense to me, it's not true. And since more evidence than not suggests to me that you concocted this story with this person who just hung up on me because I started to ask some very pointed questions, it appears more likely than not that I'm going to find in the plaintiff's favor for false arrest. That's what I think. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all. Step out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused, may step out.
I hope that the plaintiff takes her money and straightens her life out.
Never work at a telemarketing place with crazy people.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sanchez versus Nesbitt, step forward, please.
25-year-old Jacqueline Sanchez is suing her brother, 24-year-old Joshua Nesbitt, for the cost to fix her Land Rover after he wrecked it.
Miss Sanchez, the defendant is your brother. You and your kids were staying with him for a period of time in Florida. It is your claim he borrowed your car, had an accident, and didn't pay for the damages to the car.
That's right, yes.
Give me the make and model of your car.
It's a 2002 Discovery Land Rover.
When did you purchase it?
We bought it in November 2006.
Who bought it?
My husband and I.
Is there a loan out on the car?
There is, yes.
What's left on the car?
A little over $14,000.
There's a loan out on the car. You had to have insurance.
We did have insurance, yes.
And?
The insurance that we had, it covered the other party's car and liability, but it didn't actually cover our vehicle.
It has to. You have to have collision insurance if you have a loan outstanding on the car. Ms. Sanchez?
It didn't.
Then you did something in violation of the law if you didn't have collision.
When I got the insurance coverage, I just asked what we needed, and that's what they gave us. I didn't.
No, I don't believe that at all.
Okay.
I don't believe that at all. Now, whenever you have a loan outstanding on a car, you have to have insurance. You have to have liability and collision so that the car can be completely covered. You have a letter there from the people to whom this $14,000 is owed?
No, because we've still been making the payments on it.
You have your insurance policy?
I do, yes.
I want to take a look at it. Let me see proof that you've been making payments on the car.
I don't have any proof that we've been making payments on it.
Who's the loan maker on the car?
CarMax Auto Financial.
Well, your brother's defense is that he knew that you had money outstanding on this car. He had an accident with the car. He assumed it was covered, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I would have assumed it was covered.
In the state of Florida, the law is...
I know what the law is in the state of Florida. I'm a resident of the
Yeah,
state
so
of Florida.
I'm
speaking. You see my mouth moving? Don't interrupt me. You have to have collision insurance if you have a loan. So while I'm going to hear the case, I'm not making any award until I see proof that you've continued to make payments on the car up until the 1st of this month.
Okay.
When did you have the accident?
The accident was on July 28th, 2009.
Was it your fault?
Technically, it was
I don't want to hear technically. I
Yes,
asked you if it was your fault.
Yes, it was my fault.
After the accident, what conversation did you have with your sister?
Well, I called my sister and I informed her that I was just in a car accident with her car, and the first thing she told me was that she didn't have collision on her car, which I was under the assumption that it was. So, I mean, I never would have gotten into the car and taken it for a drive in the first place if I didn't know that it didn't have collision on it.
Tell me about the fault aspect of this accident.
Well, I was driving up to West Palm and...
To do what?
I was going to court.
For what?
It was a
DUI?
reckless driving case. Excuse me?
Reckless driving and DUI?
Yes, but that case got thrown out. That case got thrown out because I wasn't in the wrong. They gave me a breathalyzer and I was under the legal limit, so they threw out the case. And that's why I didn't get charged with it.
Great. How do you think I knew that that's what you were on your way to court about?
Because you're a judge, I'm sure you can look up all my information.
I didn't look up a thing. I just knew. When was the last time you made a car payment?
Our car payments are due on the 18th. We haven't made one yet for this month, but...
But you made one in October?
Yes.
And one in September?
Yes.
And August?
No.
Why not?
Because I was stuck in Florida, they gave us an extension on it.
And how much is the damage on the car?
The estimate I got was for $6,250.
Let me see it. You have pictures of the car?
I do, yes.
You have any other defense to this action, sir?
The only information I got is, well, while she was staying with us, her children and her caused damage and made a mess in the house.
Show me.
Oh, unfortunately, before I knew I was coming to court for the case, I had to hire a maid service to come clean my entire house. So I just brought that information with me.
Why didn't you clean the house yourself?
Because a lot of the things I didn't have the right kind of equipment to clean, like
All you need are your 2 hands and a rag. Mr. Nesbitt, I'm not going to torture you any further, sir. Sadly, as between your sister and you had the accident. And the accident was your fault. So as between you and your sister, you're responsible for the damage. I'm not comfortable with your sister's claim that she has been making payments on this car. I'm not comfortable with that at all. So provisionally, I am entering a judgment in the amount that she requests. And when we receive proof by virtue of canceled checks and a statement from CarMax that she was current with her payments, then I will enter a final judgment in her favor for $5,000. Do you understand?
I do, yes.
Perfect. That's all.
Parties are excused. Mrs. Knighton. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Tell me your name.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy? Would you come up here? Come up here.
Can you make it up here? Oh, there you go. All right.
Hi.
Hi.
You have a big, strong voice. How old are you, Jimmy?
6 years old.
I have a couple of questions for you. You think you can think real hard so you can answer these questions? I understand that you got shot in the head with a BB. Can you tell me what happened?
I was in my yard.
You were in your yard?
And Chase had a BB gun shooting at a piece of foam.
Who had a BB gun? Chase?
Chase.
Is that little boy over there, Chase? Is he your friend?
Yes, he was, but when he shot me with the BB gun, well, I had to go to the doctor, and when I got back home, Mom said I could never play with him again. And I stayed in the house.
It was an accident, though, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. He didn't mean to hurt you, did he? He did?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to shoot you. Now I'm going to really shoot you.
We have to talk to him about that, okay? Did you shake hands? Maybe we will later. I'm going to have to talk with him right now, okay? Okay, why don't you go step down?
There you go. Watch your step, partner.
Cute.
All right. See.
Chase, come on up here.
Oh.
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Chase, Jimmy is a friend of yours? Or he was?
He goes to my school.
And you're a nice boy? And he's a nice boy? Where'd you get this BB gun from?
From behind my papa's door.
That where your papa leaves it?
Now he leaves it in his closet.
And is the closet locked now? But he used to leave it just behind the door? So it's your grandpa's gun? Or your daddy's?
Yes, my dad's or my grandpa's.
But it used to be just behind the door. In whose room?
My papa's.
What were you doing with the BB gun when Jimmy got shot?
Shooting beer bottles with my next door neighbor.
And how old is your next door neighbor?
14.
Who was with you at home that day, Chase?
My grandma.
Just your grandma?
And my sister and brother.
And where was your daddy?
At work.
And your papa?
He was at work.
Did you ask permission to take the BB gun out? Are you supposed to ask permission? So you didn't do the right thing, right? You didn't mean to hurt Jimmy, did you? I didn't think so. What happened when your daddy found out that you had shot Jimmy with the BB gun? Did he tell you not to do that anymore?
Told not to.
Would you like to sort of shake hands with Jimmy and maybe you could try to be friends again? What about you? Not ready to do that yet? Okay. Okay, Chase, why don't you go sit down next to your pie? So that's what this case is about. Right. This case is about one little boy who got shot in the head with a BB gun, and I gather from the complaint that the doctors have decided to leave the BB in his head rather than do some surgery. And Ms. Sullivan, what you want is you want the defendant to pay for all the medical bills that you have and some money for pain and suffering.
Correct.
I'm ready for your defense, sir.
Well, first of all, I think that this could have been stopped if she would have told me, first of all, that he had the BB gun, because when I went over there to talk to him, she told me, she said she's seen Chase running around with a BB gun, waving it around. So I was just wondering, you know, when she told me that, why didn't she come to me and tell me that in the first place?
You were working.
I was not at work.
That's what he said.
I know, but he's mistaken.
So you were home?
I was at home. I was in the living room.
Oh, that's even worse. So you were at home.
Yes, ma'am.
In a situation where you were totally responsible for your sons having access to an instrument that could cause serious physical injury to somebody else that was not secured. You are 100% responsible for Jimmy's medical bills, out-of-pocket expenses. It was your responsibility. Is this your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Your father's responsibility to ensure that that BB gun was secured so that your 6-year-old son could take it and hurt anybody else or himself. You know that that's true. Now, I don't know whether Miss Sullivan could tell from this BB gun whether or not it was a toy or capable of hurting anybody or whether it was loaded or not loaded. Who knows that? But you certainly knew that it was capable of causing injury, and your father certainly knew that, and both of you understood that it was not the right place to keep it, behind some door, and it's now secured in a place where he can't get it, right? Yeah. So it's secured now. It was a little too late. So let me see the bills. 1, 2, 3. Fast, and be very, very happy, Mr. Knighton, that he didn't lose an eye.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an X-ray that indicates where this BB is?
I do.
Have you ever seen one out, Mr. Knighton?
No, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
It's still in his head.
Is this the first time that your son has taken out that BB gun?
I don't think so.
How many times did you play with this BB gun?
One.
One time before this?
I played with it 2 times over at the next door neighbors. We're shooting beer bottles.
On a different day or the same day?
Different day.
So you had that BB gun out twice. And where was your daddy the first time you had it out? Did anybody know you had it out the first time?
I think it was at home, or it was at home.
Did your daddy know you had the gun out the first time you had it out shooting beer bottles?
No.
How big is this gun?
Not from here to here.
That's pretty big. Is it heavy?
My dad's is this long.
That's pretty heavy for you to carry, isn't it?
No, it was mine. It was my BB gun.
What does that mean?
His mom bought him the BB gun.
So this is his BB gun? It's not yours or your father's?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's gonna give me a knife when I get 15.
If you're smart, you'll ask him to get you a microscope or a doctor's kit so that you can hope to be something that's really good and not a thug with a knife.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gail Sullivan says her 6-year-old son, Jimmy Johnson, was shot in the head with a BB gun. Gail says the shooter was her neighbor's son, 6-year-old Chase Knighton.
Where is his mother?
His mother is off somewhere.
Off?
She banded us.
Okay. When did she buy this BB gun?
Christmas.
She bought it for him. I didn't want him to have it. And he insisted. He cried about it because I know I never wanted him to have it in the first place. I knew he was too young. Should never have one. But
right. Your dad has to take that BB gun and put it away for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that you can't even touch it. Do you understand? Maybe when you're 15 or 16 years old, your daddy will be able to take it out, and when you're responsible enough to use it right, he'll be able to give it to you. But it's not the right thing for you to even hold it, because you're not big enough yet to do that. Do you understand?
Yeah, he's going to give me a knife when I get 15.
A knife? I want to tell you what your papi's going to get you when you're 15. He's going to get you a microscope. If you're smart, you'll ask him to get you a microscope or a doctor's kit, you know, so that you can aspire to be something, so that you can hope to be something that's really good, you know, like a doctor or a lawyer and not a thug with a knife. That's not good. Do you understand? Not good. Certain things are good, certain things are not. What does your daddy do for a living? No. What do you do for a living, son?
I'm a warehouse manager.
He works in a warehouse, and he's a manager. He manages a lot of other people and tells them where things go. He has a very important job. You think that he handles that job because he has a big knife? And you know what kind of a job your papi used to have?
He's told me he used to be a marshal.
A marshal? Is that right?
I'm a deputy marshal with Alabama Supreme Court.
See, so he has a job that's related to the law, right? He's a deputy marshal in the court system. It's a very important job. And he doesn't need a knife for that job. Got to teach him the right thing. And if he wants the wrong thing, you have to sort of reorient him.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Can I say something? The knife he's talking about is one of those little knives with the fingernail file in it and the toothpick and everything.
By the time he gets to be 15, he's not going to want that knife.
Well, that'd be the only one he get.
Good. All right. Well, there's no question that you folks are responsible for these medical bills. There's no question in regard to that. I think that they were absolutely 100% negligent allowing this weapon to be in a position where he could get his hands on it. I have a feeling that these two gentlemen have a very full plate. I also think, Jimmy, that he's probably a very nice little boy. He did a bad thing, and you should really probably give him another chance. I think that that would be a nice thing to do. I really do. Because you're supposed to forgive somebody if they're really sorry. You are sorry for what happened, aren't you? He really is sorry. He would really like to be your friend. Think you're willing to give him another chance? I sort of like that idea. Come on.
Okay.
Give him one shake. Go ahead. That's good. See, that didn't hurt. Good. All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,654, which are the actual damages, another $1,000 punitive damages, $2,654. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Chase knew that he wasn't supposed to take that gun out of the house. I don't know why he took it out.
Jimmy said he told him he was going to shoot him with a gun, and I feel like that this child shouldn't have had the gun.
Keep the gun away from small children and keep it locked up.
That could have been a pistol. My son could be dead.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davis versus Palazzo, step forward, please.
21-year-old homemaker Aubrey Davis is suing her sister, custodian Claudia Colazzo, for the cost of her son's medical bills. Aubrey says she paid for his treatment after he suffered an epileptic seizure.
Miss Davis, how are you related to the defendant?
She's my sister.
And this is your nephew?
Yes, correct.
Your son?
Yes.
According to your complaint, he was staying with you for a brief period of time. While he was with you, he had a seizure.
Correct.
You suffer from epilepsy?
Yes.
And he was taken to the emergency room. There was a medical bill of over $1,500, and you want your sister to be responsible for that.
Correct.
When did he come to live with you?
July 5th.
Prior to that, where was he living?
I believe he was at Stephanie's house, which is who he's living with now.
Who's Stephanie?
It is his dad's ex-wife. That's as much as I know about her.
Step up here, please. Tell me your name.
Richard Ornelas.
Before you came to live with your aunt in July, who were you living with?
My brother's mom, Stephanie.
How long had you been living with her?
About a year.
And how old were you when you went to live with Stephanie?
15.
Why weren't you living with your mother?
My mom just told me, leave. My mom told me to leave.
But she told you to leave when you were 15?
Yeah.
When did he get sick?
July 6th.
Is that right?
Yes.
You were with your aunt for only one day before you had a seizure?
Yes.
Had you had seizures before?
Yes.
Did you have seizures when you lived with your mom?
Yes.
Why don't you sit down, Richard? You have a copy of the bills?
Yes.
Can I see them, please?
I also have a copy here from the hospital that shows that I never signed. And I asked them for the copy of the law stating that she's responsible for the bills since I didn't sign that paper. And all they gave me was the law. They didn't give me a copy of the actual law.
You took him to the hospital, is that right?
The ambulance took him and I arrived there with them.
Okay, Ms. Collazo. All's in your court. Why are you not responsible for these bills?
January of 2002, Richard moved out of my house. I did not throw him out. I was having problems with him at school. He was arrested. He was in juvie. He didn't want to obey by my laws. I have documentation that that Stephanie had guardianship of Richard since January 30th of 2002.
Stephanie was married to his father.
I don't know if they were legally married, but they had children.
Okay. That's where he went to live.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And
Where is his father?
Pardon?
Where's his father?
Where is his father? He lives in Las Vegas.
Okay, go ahead.
I have documentation of everything, of the guardianship papers.
Guardianship doesn't mean that Stephanie is financially responsible for him.
No, but he was living with her at the time.
Yes.
I didn't know that he was living with Aubrey.
Yes.
I received a phone call from Aubrey's husband stating that Richard was in the hospital. And I told him, well, don't have her sign anything. Get a hold of Stephanie. She has guardianship since I live 63 miles out of town.
Well, somebody has to admit him.
I was assumed that he was admitted. He was brought by ambulance. I don't know what was going on. All I had is a
Did you
phone
rush
call.
to the hospital?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I had no way to get there right then and there.
You don't have a car?
Yes, I have a car, but I did not have a way to get there.
Where was your car?
It was there. It was at home.
So what do you mean you had no way to get there?
Financially, I was not working at that time.
You were an hour away.
Yes. It was late at night.
So? You're in for a rude awakening, madam. Because someone has guardianship of your child,
Right.
that doesn't make them financially responsible for your child.
Okay.
Parents are responsible for the necessaries of a child. Necessaries mean food, clothing, shelter, medical care, sometimes lawyers' fees, and a variety of other things.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't change unless you go to court and have your child emancipated. If your 15-year-old child is emancipated by some judge who's a little nutty, then maybe you won't have financial responsibility for the necessaries. But right now, you do. Not her.
Then why did she go in there and do what she did?
What did she do?
She jumped in my business. That's how I feel.
Your son came to our house on July 5th. He was there less than 24 hours and he had a seizure. What would you have suggested that she do, Ms. Collazo?
She did the right thing.
So then what are you complaining about?
Is why I'm being taken to court. Why not
Who's
the
supposed
father?
to? You could sue the father and say, listen, I had to pay this bill, but you're partially responsible for it too. I'll pay half and you pay half. She doesn't have to go searching for the father who lives in Las Vegas.
Correct.
You do that.
Okay.
If you chose to allow him to leave your home and you chose to allow him to be under the guardianship of a biological stranger, that's within your family. But when it comes to his necessaries, you're not off the hook. If you want to sue his father, go to it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,590.
Case number 307 on the calendar in the matter of Sane versus Ross. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Miss Sane, it is your claim that the defendant assaulted you, scratched your face, causing you to bleed, scarring, etc.
Yes, ma'am.
When her car, which had been illegally parked in an area where you live,
Yes, ma'am.
when you requested that she move that car,
Yes, ma'am.
the defendant says that she was only there for a minute and that she was merely defending herself, but she has very long nails, which caused the scratching to your face. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, on what date did this happen?
April 2nd.
Where?
At my apartment where I live, out in the front parking area.
Are there outdoor parking spaces?
There is 6 spaces on each side. When she parked her car into the fire lane, there was empty spots that she could have parked in.
Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. It wasn't a fire lane, and my car was not illegally parked. I backed in to unload a vacuum cleaner. She illegally parked because she backed around.
No, Miss Ross. Listen to me. Your car was not parked in a legal spot.
It wasn't illegally parked either.
What does that mean, madam? You explain what that means to me.
It was not parked in a fire lane.
Where was it parked? It was parked in a regular parking space?
No, it was parked in the middle of it.
In the middle of
the
what?
driveway. It was parked in the middle of the driveway.
Oh, okay. So it's parked in the middle of a driveway.
Exactly. She could have went around either way.
Why didn't you park the car in an appropriate parking place?
Because I was only in and out. I went there to drop off a vacuum.
Just a minute. So you parked your car in an illegal place in a driveway. That's what you did. Now, you were where? You came home and found the car there, or your car was already there?
I had went to my storage space, me and my witness and another friend. We had pulled my truck back to the very back of the apartments. I live in a 4-plex. And when I came out, the way I had went in, I couldn't go back out that way because there was vehicles filling my side and on the other duplex's side. So I was going to go around the very first car, go out through the front. But the lady that lives in apartment B, she always parks real far back, and her car was parked in the fire lane. I could not get through there.
Okay. So you could not get through to pull out so that you could get into your parking space?
Yes, ma'am.
Because her car was blocking you?
Yes, ma'am.
So what did you do?
I honked the horn. Like I said, we live in a small, it's just a 4-plex. I figured whoever owned it would come out. Nobody did.
Now, when you went into your storage space, was her car there?
No, ma'am.
How long were you in the storage space?
Probably about 30 minutes.
And when you came out, her car was there, and you said you started honking the horn. What happened when you honked the horn?
The children from the apartment next to me came up and asked me what my problem was, and asked me if they knew who the car belonged to, and they said yes. Her name was Evelyn, and she was at their parents' house. And I asked them if they could go ask her to move it.
Did they do that?
Yes, ma'am. And they came back and said that she said she would move it when she got ready.
Okay, and about how long were the children gone?
Just a few minutes.
A minute or two? No
Yes,
more than
ma'am.
that. And then what's the very next thing that happened?
About that time, she came around the corner, and she started walking over to her car, and I told her she needed to move her car at that time. And she stated that
What did you say to her?
I told her that she needed to move her car.
That's not what she said.
No, I'm sure that's not what she said.
That is not what
What
she
did
said.
you say?
That's the nicest version she could have put it in.
I want to know what you said to her.
I told her that she needed to move the car at that time, and she said she was not going to move the car.
That's
and
what she said.
And I said, yes.
I don't want to hear you until I look at you and say to you, speak. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, that's not my question. My question is, do you understand? Not whether you hear. I was sure you heard me. Question is, do you understand what I said?
I understand.
Good. Now.
So I told her, yes, you will move the car.
And then what happened?
I went to the apartment right in where my truck was parked at, apartment B, and asked them if I could use the phone to call the police.
Okay.
And I called the police, and I told them that there was a lady parked in the fire lane. She wouldn't move the car. I had my back towards her, And just as I started to turn around...
You were in somebody's apartment? Or?
No, I was outside beside my truck, which was a good 25 feet away from her car.
Okay, go ahead.
I had my back towards Miss Ross, and I just started to turn around, and I seen her running at me from behind. And at that point, she stabbed me underneath my eye with her keys and began to scratch my face.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She came out cussing and being very belligerent to me, and she kept cussing at me. She came out with that phone and swung. When she swung at me, she got swung back on.
And later today,
your son was in jail. Domestic abuse. You spoke to your granddaughter.
I called her that day.
That day I got called out of work to get $500 for my father to get bailed out of jail.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Melva Sane says, during an argument over a parking space, Evelyn Ross gouged her eyes. Evelyn says Melva swung first.
Okay. You have photographs of what your face looked like?
Your Honor, that's not what happened. That's not the truth.
I thought you said you understood.
I guess I forgot saying that, but that's not the truth.
I thought you said you understood.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll hear you.
Miss Sane started off by telling me to move my car, and she said it at least 5 times, and there is a police report from me to the Arlington police saying that. I told her she did not have to talk to me like that in order for me to move my car. On April 2nd, 2002, my daughter had a state track meet in which I was already running late to get to. She came out cussing and being very belligerent to me was the reason I got defensive. When she got those people's phone, she ran up to the car on the phone, shaking her finger at me. I'm moving my car, and she was still coming out.
Just a second, Miss Ross. You just said that she came up shaking her finger at you, but you were already moving your car.
Right.
Wait! So you were inside of your car.
Right.
But there came a time when you moved outside of your car, because I'm looking at these photographs of her face. So at some point, you got out of your car. When did you get out of your car?
I got out of my car once it was out of the middle of the parking lot into a parking place.
Okay, now just 1 second, so that let me understand this, Miss Ross. You were in your car, and she was being belligerent, and she was on the phone, and she was yelling and cursing at you.
Right.
So you get into your car, and you put it in reverse?
Yes.
And you move back.
Into a parking spot.
Just a second. You move back.
Right.
Into a parking space.
Right.
And then what do?
I got out of my car.
Now you're on your way, and you're running late to your daughter's track meet. You want to explain to me why you got out of your car?
Because I left something inside of the house.
Really?
And
what
yes.
did you leave inside of the house?
I'm not sure at this point what it was, but I got out of my car for a reason. Either my cigarettes or something, cigarettes, lighter, one of the two.
Either your cigarettes or your lighter that were, I assume, more important than the track meet that your daughter was in.
No, it wasn't
running
more
late
important.
For.
It wasn't more
So
important.
what did you do when you got out of the car?
I got out of the car and attempted to go back around to my friend's house, and she kept cussing at me. And when she came out with that phone and swung. When she swung at me, she got exactly those scratches. She got swung back on. She swung first, and Arlington Police Department have a report saying so. She swung first. That's the reason it wasn't a criminal case.
I'll see the police report, please.
See it.
I'll see the police report. You think I believe your story that you left something inside? That you were in such fear, Miss Ross, quiet, that you were in such fear of her screaming and cursing at you that you were in your car, you could have gone your own way and stopped off and bought another lighter or a pack of cigarettes, whichever it was that was so important that you can't even remember it now. You would have been out of harm's way and gone, except you decided to pull into a parking space and get out and not confront her. Oh, no. To go back inside to the apartment that you just came from to get something that you can't remember as we speak now and cause this type of damage to her face.
That was from my hand. That's not from a key.
Speak not.
Your Honor.
Shh. Well, that's very unfortunate. This friend of yours who finally, after several missed appointments, went to talk to the police. Nobody else, according to the investigating police officer, wanted to get involved in this whole incident. I wonder why. I am satisfied after hearing your testimony and after hearing your testimony that you were the instigator in this whole incident, Miss Ross. You had the absolute ability to extricate yourself, to leave this argument, which you had caused by illegally parking your car.
What was
Because
she
I'm
started?
speaking! By illegally parking your car and then saying to the kids who came in to tell you to please move your car, that I'll move my car when I'm good and ready. That's the kind of persona that I'm seeing as you're standing here testifying today. Those are the exact words that would come out of your mouth. Now, I'm not saying that Miss Sane didn't use some vulgarities when you finally did come out. I believe she did. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That does not give you the right to cause the injuries that you did, which you caused. And for that, I am awarding the plaintiff $5,000. That's all. Step out.
What is our excuse?
She was the instigator.
She approached me and attacked me from behind.
She started it.
I have a statement from a dermatologist about the scars on my face.
She got her butt whooped because of it.
The hole in my face.
Looked like someone had been mauled by a grizzly bear.
She came out cussing and swinging at me.
It's consistent, he says, with a stab wound.
And I'm not gonna ever let anybody hit me and just walk away or drive away.
She told me she would be back.
She came after me and she got tore up because of it.
This isn't the end.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of White versus Atkinson. Step forward, please.
Babysitter Jackie White is suing her granddaughter, 20-year-old nurse's assistant Melissa Atkinson, for an unpaid loan to bail her father out of jail.
Miss Atkinson, how old are you?
20.
This is your grandma.
Yep.
Who do you live with now?
Me and my fiance and my daughter.
How old is your daughter?
8 months.
When you were growing up, who did you live with?
My mother.
Only your mother?
Yep.
What about your father?
Non-existent.
That's her son, is that right? Did you have any sort of relationship with your grandmother?
Yep. Somewhat.
As you were growing up, you saw her?
Yep.
Try yes, it sounds
Yes.
nicer. It's a courtroom. How frequently did you see your grandmother as you were growing up?
More when I was younger than now.
And you saw her despite the fact that you had no relationship with your father. He wasn't around.
He was around, but not often.
Shh, put your hand down. So she was around more than your dad?
Yep. Yes.
When you say she was around more than your dad, she would come to visit you or you would go and spend time with her even though her son wasn't around?
Yes.
So you would say that during the time you were little, and even a little older, she was a reasonable grandparent?
Yes.
Now I'm going to get to the case. Ms. White, you're suing your granddaughter because you claim that there was a time, some time ago, recently, that your son was in jail, was incarcerated, and needed bail money. He called you. You had most of the bail money that he needed. Whatever you had was about $470. $400 for bail and $70 for some fee. You spoke to your granddaughter. Granddaughter managed to get together another $100. You posted $500 bail for your son. Sometime later, he appeared in court. Bail was returned, but it was returned to your granddaughter, and your granddaughter did not give you back your money. Granddaughter says that you never gave her a dime. Okay? That's what the case is about.
Right.
Which is the reason that I was asking you a whole bunch of questions, Ms. Atkinson, because I didn't know what kind of relationship you had with your grandmother, and I don't know why your grandmother would sue you anyway, even if what she says is true, because that's sort of something that family doesn't do, especially for not life-altering amounts of money. So you're going to explain that too to me, Ms. White.
I had to borrow the money from my sister. She wired it up Western Union for me to get the bail money. And then I had to pay her back. And I was expecting to get my money back from Melissa when this bond was paid back.
When did your son call you?
April 27th. I've got a phone number here where I called my sister on the 28th. She wired the money up the 28th.
When was your son incarcerated?
27th.
For what?
I've got a record here. You'll have to look at this.
Can I see it, please? Domestic abuse. Who was he living with?
His girlfriend.
So she was the complainant in the case?
Probably, yes.
Okay, so you got the money, and you got about $400.
Melissa put in $100.
Okay, and when did you call her?
I called her that day to go with me, ask her if she had any money to help me pay the bill. She said she'd get up $100. I told her I had $400 coming.
And that's what the bail was, $500?
Yes, she went with me to pick up the money from the Western Union. She was with me when I picked it up. We proceeded to the jailhouse. I let her put it in her name. It's my granddaughter. I don't think she's going to try and get the money, keep the money from me. The day he got out, the day this was all dismissed, I called her up, told her she'd go down and pick up the money. According to her, she didn't have a driver's license. She needed $700 and something for a license. I said, I can't do that. Get your mass ID. I can't do that, she says. So that was it. I never did see the money. That was the end of it.
Okay, go ahead.
All I have to say is if it was all of her money, like she claims, first it's so many different amounts. First
That's
it's
$400.
First it's $470. Now it's $400.
No, she
and
never
early
said it.
on it was $350.
Oh, you tell me your version of the story.
I'm just telling you that if it was all her money, that day I got called out of work to come and get $500 up.
Tell me what happened.
I got called out of work to get $500 up.
By
to
whom?
get my father, by her, for my father, to get bailed out of jail. So I got called out of work, had to come home, find money, spend the whole day waiting for a bail bondsman, and then of course it's my money, I'm going to put my name down so I can get my money back.
Where did you get the money from?
I had some cash saved over from my daughter's savings bonds.
Run that by me again.
They give me money to get savings bonds for my daughter.
Who does?
His family, my fiance's family. So I had that in a drawer.
How much did you have?
$500.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
Why would I have less than
I don't believe you.
That's fine.
I know it's fine. But don't you feel ridiculous coming up and telling a bald-faced lie?
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are. I mean, it's a bald-faced lie, and it sounds so stupid.
Well, if it was her money, why didn't she put it in her name? What was the whole point
That's
of that
not
anyway?
the issue. The issue is that family usually trusts each other. Family usually trusts each other. Do I think that you have $500 in cash sitting around because your fiancé's family over the course of 6 months or a year has given you money for your 8-month-old child that you just keep in a drawer?
Yeah.
And you have a job?
Yep.
What kind of a job do you have?
Nursing assistant.
You get paid check or cash?
Cash.
Cash?
Yep.
Interesting. When was the last time you filed tax returns?
Last year.
Good. How much did you report on your tax returns?
$12,000.
So you have a checking account?
No.
Really?
Really?
You keep all the money that you make in cash in your house?
Most of it.
That's dumb.
It works. Might not work for you, but it works for me.
You have to see. Now, what I don't understand is why a 20-year-old girl who seems not to have really started her life out in an orderly fashion to begin with, by having an 8-month-old child, being unwed, having a job, no checking account, no savings account, I assume, why you would want to cut off a grandparent who had been perfectly reasonable to you during your growing up years. I have no idea. But if attitude could make you wealthy, you'd be a very wealthy woman. Attitude is not going to make you wealthy. Being an honest person will make you at least an honorable person. Never going to get there. Thick. Maybe it's your son's genes.
I hope not.
Well, maybe. Anyway, the $70 she doesn't owe you. She owes you $400 because the bail was $500. It may have cost you $70 to get the money from your sister, but all you put down was $400. I believe that you put down $400 in bail, and I believe she got that money back, and I believe she decided...
And Judge, you may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
It is clear that you two ladies are neighbors from the complaint and answer that I've read, and it is your claim, Miss Taylor, that the defendant assaulted you over the way your car was parked. She says that she was defending herself after you sprayed her with mace. So I'd like you to explain to me what kind of housing complex you live in.
It's an apartment housing complex, low income. Here's some pictures of my...
I want to see where the cars are parked, because this...
This is how the cars were exactly.
Let me see, please.
My car is back here. This is hers, and this is her boyfriend's.
Okay, let me see. Okay, yours is the blue car.
Yes.
And when was this picture taken?
That was like a month after. That was on the 12th, May 12th.
But it's not the date of the incident?
No, ma'am.
Now, according to your complaint, the defendant, who I assume you've had difficulty with before, came to your house one morning and asked you to move your car because your car was parked so close to her car she couldn't get her car out.
Yeah.
And what time did she come to the house?
Around 9 o'clock in the morning, banging at my door.
And what did she say when she came to your door?
When I came to the door, she was hollering about me moving my car so she can get out, or whatever the case was. And
no, not whatever the case was. Moving your car so that she could get her car out.
Yes,
Okay.
she was hollering.
Now, when had you parked your car?
When? The night before that, when I got in.
Was her car there?
Yes.
How close did you park your car to her car?
About that close. I had to parallel park.
Well, this shows that there's plenty of space for her to get out.
Like you said, we've
Were
had
you on her
problems.
bumper? Were you on her bumper?
No.
Was she on your bumper?
Yes, she was.
Of course you were on her bumper, otherwise she wouldn't have come to your house. She was trying to get to work.
Okay.
Why would she come to your house if you weren't on her bumper? Right? Come on. You have to
She's
use
had-
common sense, Miss Taylor.
Okay.
Okay? And the fact that you didn't want to move your car, or that you've been having difficulty with her, nobody takes the time to go to your house in the morning and say, move your car, get angry, unless there's a reason that you can't move a car.
May I say something, ma'am?
Yeah.
I went to get my keys to move my car.
Just a minute. She comes to the door, move your car, and you said what to her?
I have to go and get. I didn't say anything. I was going upstairs. Okay, I was going upstairs, and I'm getting my keys.
Did you say anything to her?
I said okay, and went upstairs to get my keys.
Okay, go ahead.
My mace is on my keys. I went to get my keys, and I looked outside, and she was. Well, I heard when I was going upstairs, I heard her say she was going to move. She was going to hit my car. I looked outside, and I see she was doing a U-turn to get up on my bumper. I called the police, told them. She said she's going to move my car.
Just a second. She was doing a U-turn.
Yes, because her boyfriend pulled his car out by that time. I told the police, and it's in my police report. She said she's going to hit my car. Quote. When I was saying that, she went around, made a U-turn, and she hit my car. I told her she just hit my car. I'm going out there. I went out there to make sure it wasn't any damages. It wasn't no damages. She was hollering. We were arguing. It was cold outside. I told her, I'm not going to be out here arguing with you. It's cold. I have on my night clothes. I'm sleepy. I'm just going to pay you dust. She was still arguing, following me up to my door, which is around the corner, and hers is right here. She's following me up to my door. She's still arguing and hollering or whatever.
What was she saying to you?
Telling me I'm getting on her nerves because wait a minute. Well, you got the picture. She always parked by that pole. When I parked by that pole, she I don't know, she don't like it because that's her, quote unquote, that's her spot. That's her pole. She has said it before. That is her pole. So when I park by that pole, I just get on her nerves when I do that. When I park on the street, because I usually park in the parking lot, she just get on my nerves. I park in the parking lot in the wintertime and park on the street in the summertime. I just get on her nerves. So I guess that just ticked her off.
Go ahead.
She came up on my porch. She was calling me B's and H's or whatever the case. So I called her too. You know, and I'm like, you know what? Forget it. You've been wanting me to sit out here and argue with her since 3 years that I've been living there. She wanted me to go out there and argue with her, and I never did. I paid her dust. Didn't even speak to her too many times. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna even go through with this. I'm going back to bed. It's cold. I gotta go to work. She come up to me and she swing on me. So I have my mace in my hand anyway. So I spray it with mace. She grabbed my coat.
Just a second. You said she swung on you. Exactly what did she do?
Well, in other words, she hit me with a clothes fist. She swung her
Where?
clothes. When she came up, when I was going in the house.
Where on your body did she hit you with a clothes?
In my face, right here.
Okay. So what did you do?
I sprayed her with mace. While I was spraying her with mace, I don't know if her boyfriend was trying to grab her or whatever, but he was right there on the porch as well. And there was a stick around in the vicinity or whatever. She threw my coat on the ground, and I go to pick up my coat. She picked up the stick. She tried to hit me in my face with the stick. I blocked it with my hand and grabbed it with this hand. Then her boyfriend grabbed me and just like turned me around, and I went in the house.
Did she hit you with the stick?
Yes.
Where?
On my hand. She hit my hand.
Okay. Did you have any injuries?
Yes.
What were your injuries?
My finger was broke. I couldn't work for like 2 months.
Let me see the report.
That's the report and the medical bills. Here's my x-rays.
And now I need the police report.
You only need the police?
And now I need the police report.
That's my police report.
Good.
Police report. X-rays. Now.
Okay, now I'll hear your version of the story.
Hi. Okay, Your Honor, what happened was that morning I had just got up to get ready to go to work. So I was sitting up watching my gospel like I usually do on Sunday mornings. So I looked out the window and I seen her car on my bumper. Now, we've been feuding for 2 years. Okay, I have a 7-year-old son that I have to get up every morning at 6:30 and send him to school. She don't have any kids. She plays her TV all night long. She have a dog that barks all night long. Every time when I go to her door and try to talk to her and I say, could you please turn your TV down? She turns it up even louder.
So you haven't been getting along. You looked outside the window.
Okay.
I
looked
March
outside.
25th and you saw her car on your bumper.
I looked outside. I seen her car was on my bumper. So I said, by her being the way she is when I go try to talk to her, I said, I'm not going there with Juanita today. So what happened was I sat there And then I looked at my watch and I seen it was getting close time for me to go to work. So I went around there and I knocked at her door. I said, could you move your car off my bumper? She said, I ain't moving. And that's when she slammed the door in my face and went on upstairs. Okay, I left from her door. So then I went on in the house thinking maybe she'd come and move the car. I sat there for a while. She never came to move it. So then what I did, I went back around to her house. I knocked at her door again. That's when she came outside. She sprayed me. Okay, me and her, we passed words. She sprayed me with mace first before I even attempt to do anything to her.
It's not what you say in your complaint, in your answer.
She sprayed me.
No. Pay attention.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Juanita Taylor says neighbor Deborah Jones assaulted her. Deborah says Juanita sprayed her with mace.
It's not what you say in your answer, Miss Jones. You just testified that you went to her house once, and then you went back to your house and waited to see if she would move the car. You went back to her house again. She opened the door and sprayed you with mace.
Right.
Is that what you just told me?
That's right.
Well, I'm going to read to you what you wrote in your answer. She refused to move her car and we started arguing. I walked away from her. Then she followed me around the building. The next thing I knew, she sprayed my eyes with mace. That's what you wrote in your answer. That's different from what you just told me.
Well, what happened, Your Honor, I left her house. When we got into a fight, that's when she followed me around the building. What I meant to say is, after she maced me, she followed me around the building.
No.
Okay.
So what you're telling me is she opened the door.
She opened the door.
She sprayed you with mace.
Yes, she did.
And you just walked away.
In my nightgown.
Wait a minute.
Quiet. And you just walked away.
Okay, what happened, Your Honor? When she sprayed me and her got to tussling, and I pulled her around the building, trying to defend myself. That's what happened.
Where'd you get the stick from?
Huh?
Where'd you get the stick
It was on the ground. She was macing me. I was defending myself to keep her from hurting me.
Why didn't you have your boyfriend move his car?
What happened was, he tried to move his car, Your Honor, but what happened, his battery had went down on his car.
But he got his battery fixed.
Huh?
Somehow it got fixed because he did move his car.
You know how it got fixed? Okay.
I'm asking you a question. Somehow it got fixed because he moved his car.
What he did was, once she moved her car, he went and bought some cables. And
When did she move her car?
What'd you say?
When did she move her car?
She moved her car after the policemen got there.
That's true. I was telling them she was on my bumper, and I was giving them a small version of the story. They told me to go on and move my car up. I went back outside with my nightgown on when I saw the police coming. The only thing she said was true, was that I did move my car up and the stick was on the ground.
Where did you buy the mace?
Kmart. We need a license. We can't have pepper spray up into a certain degree. I've looked into all of this.
You bought it at Kmart?
Yes.
But when I'm
Look
saying,
at it.
Your Honor, she
It's not
maced
nothing.
me first. If
Look
she
at it.
would have moved
Here are
her
my keys
car
right here.
like I asked her to, none of this would have even started.
There's no question in my mind. Listen to me, Miss Jones. There isn't a question in my mind that Miss Taylor pulled her car up on your bumper. The two of you have been feuding for a long time. You went to her house in the morning. You were angry. There also isn't a question in my mind, Miss Taylor, that you answered her when she said, move your car, and she didn't say it in a very nice way, would you please move your car? But you also said to her, I'm not moving anything. The only reason you went outside was because she threatened to hit your car. You watched her. You saw that she did, in fact, hit your car, even though it was no damage, so you went outside. You should have moved your car.
May I say something before you go back?
Sure.
We have had problems constantly.
What are the problems, Miss Taylor?
My TV being up too loud, my music being on when I'm not even home. Again, I work third shift. She would say I play my music late.
Is it possible, Miss Taylor, that you're playing your television too loud? I just want you to think carefully. Is it possible?
Ma'am, I work third shift. No, it's not.
Has she asked you to turn it down?
She's asked me to turn everything down.
Okay. Is it possible that she hears these things through the walls of the apartment?
Your Honor, we've had conversations through the wall. She's complained about my water. She's complained about my bath water running too loud. I come home when I'm not working the bull shift. I come home 3 o'clock in the morning running bath water. I hear her over there cussing and fussing. She's too loud over there. I'm coming home running a bath water. She has sent police over to my house when I have not even been there. He has been there for just silly reasons. He would tell me the police just left. Well, what are you doing? I just got in, and they're asking for the lease owner.
You think she's got nothing better to do?
I don't think so, because she's heard conversations. She has heard a conversation going on between me and my best friend, and now we cuss to each other, and I be on the phone, my windows will be open or whatever, and we talk about each other. She has sat there. A neighbor came to me and told me, well, number one, how do I know that you were... Okay, well, they have come to me and told me things that I've said on the phone. Put it like that.
Okay. Let's start on the 24th of March. The 24th of March, you did a very foolish thing. Knowing that you had, and that you were in a rather acrimonious relationship with your neighbor, you exacerbated that situation by pulling your car right up to the bumper of her car. There's no question in my mind that you did that.
Okay.
Because despite the fact that she may be angry, she's on her way to work. She's not going to take the time to go out, come up to you, start an argument, if she could get her car out without doing that. So she came up to your house. I'm speaking now.
Okay.
So you did a foolish thing because the two of you really don't like each other. And if you don't really like each other, then what you're supposed to do is stay as far away as possible. And that may mean even parking your car someplace else, but certainly not parking your car right up on her bumper, which makes everybody very angry. Doesn't that make you angry? I'm speaking.
Okay.
Doesn't it make you angry when somebody parks up on your bumper?
Yeah.
It makes me really angry if somebody parks up on my bumper and I can't get out. Number two, I also believe that you had absolutely no intention of moving your car at the time that she came screaming at your door at 9 o'clock in the morning to move your car because you don't like her. And you figured let her sweat for a while. And the only reason you went outside was because you heard her say she was going to hit your car. Now, there is never a way that I am going to be able to tell who sprayed who with mace first and who hit who with a stick first. Certainly.
Your Honor, she hit me with a closed fist first.
She
then
sprayed me
this
first.
is how it went.
David is
She
the
hit me with a
witness.
closed... If she hit me with a...
there.
If
Were
I
you there,
sprayed
David?
her, then
David
how
was
did she
there.
hit...
Step up, please.
It was just me, her, and David.
How you doing,
And I don't
Your
know
Honor?
who he
Just
is.
a second.
He wasn't there.
I don't want to
Your
hear
Honor.
anything.
No, he was not there.
Quiet.
Okay.
You were there.
Yes, ma'am, I was there.
Okay. How long have you been living in this apartment?
Oh, I don't live there.
You were just there that night.
Yes. The battery in my car had went down, so I left my car there. I came back over the next morning and asked Deborah, could she give me a jump? She didn't have no cables. So what it was, I pushed my car back. She never did come out to move her car, period. I pushed my car back, took her car, went up to the parts store and got some jumper cables. Came back, her car was still in the same place. I pulled, by me pushing my car back.
I just want to hear what
If I
happened.
didn't
What,
put-
if anything, that you saw involving these two? Now, look at me. I want you to tell me what you saw. Make sure, sir, that you tell me only what you saw.
Okay. When she knocked on the door, she come down, and when she come down, she had some keys in her hand. Then we standing out on the porch. They're arguing. Next thing I know, I see her do this. And that's when they started fighting.
Your Honor,
I broke the fight up.
if I may, if it was a big deal when she went out and looked at the car, she could have sent the police over to my house like she did all those other nights.
No, I didn't
calling.
call.
You could have called the police.
Don't speak to each other. Sit
Your
down.
Honor,
Sit
she
down.
could have called the police
I think that
and
you
told
both
her.
behaved. I
told
think that
them.
you both behaved badly. I think what you should have done, Miss Jones, is call the police.
Yeah.
That's what you should have done. I believe that you were both injured. The fact that you had a graver injury than she did, which was you had a broken finger as a result of being hit with a stick. She did not hit you with that stick until after you maced her, which are the injuries that you are complaining about. Now, you could have taken care of the situation before it even started by
No, I
not
could
doing.
not.
You're
There was no
interrupting.
way.
You're
I'm
interrupting
sorry.
me. Oh no, you could have taken care of the situation before it even started by not parking in a situation where you knew you were going to exacerbate an already hostile relationship with the defendant. You chose the night before when you parked to park, and you said to me her car was parked there. It wasn't as if her car came in after your car was parked. Her car was parked there. You chose to park your car in such a way that she could not get out. Now, the fact that she came to your door the next morning, she may have asked you to move your car. I believe that you had no intention of moving your car. You're angry with her, you're annoyed at her, and you didn't like her attitude.
Your Honor, her
I'm
car is-
speaking! Now, there was a mutual assault. You just got hurt worse. Your case is dismissed. Okay?
Parties are excused. You may Campbell.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Laughlin, you dated the defendant for a brief period of time. He was married at the time, and you claim a series of loans. While he says he does acknowledge that you gave him some money, $1,600, you say it was substantially more than that. He said that that was a gift. He also has a counterclaim for some nonsense that I'll get to in a minute. When did you meet him?
I met him in September of 2001.
Where?
At Atlantis nightclub in Reno, Nevada.
And when did you start dating?
We started dating soon thereafter.
When did you find out he was married?
I found out in a phone conversation about a week after that.
Your Honor, that's a lie.
When did you meet?
Same date she told you, in the evening.
Okay, because you say in your answer that you met New Year's 2002.
Right.
Well, what do you mean right? Was it September or was it in December?
It was in September.
So you made a mistake?
Yes.
You're not going to make any more mistakes?
I hope not.
Good. When do you say you told her you were married?
I told her that night at the nightclub.
Did you tell her you were separated from your wife?
Yes, I did.
Okay. When was the first time that you loaned him money?
January 25th of 2002.
How much and for what?
I loaned him $2,060, and it was for a car title loan. He had a negative checking account, bounced checks. He needed a vehicle, so I loaned him $500 to buy a vehicle from his brother.
Yeah, well, where's the $2,060?
I have it on here on my statements. It's my statements that show the actual amount of money that I loaned him.
Let me see what you're talking about. Those
Your Honor, I never received any loan.
Just a shh, Mr. Campbell. I let you shout out once. It's the last time.
The
Just
yellow.
a second. Wait. The yellow marks are his?
The yellow marks are the chunks of money that I loaned him. The large cash advances.
No. This is Denny's, Sports Bar, Hilton Hotels.
If you look at the yellow tabs, ma'am, those are the large chunks of money. Those other things were things we did together. Basically, I was supporting the whole relationship.
So what? I don't care if you were supporting the whole relationship. That's your business. You brought this thing. Do you expect this as part of your lawsuit to be reimbursed to you?
The yellow ones, I do, because those were large sums of money that I paid off the bills, and I have the actual
Just a minute. What's
bounce
C&W Atlantis Casino in Reno?
That's where we met.
$634.99.
That's correct. I obtained a cash advance that date, which
For what?
it was for his storage unit. It was in the rears, and he asked if I would help him.
From a casino? You got this money at a casino to give him?
I obtained the cash advance at a casino, yes, ma'am.
Peppermill Front Desk, Reno.
That's correct.
$165. What is that?
That was actually a party that his friends had in our room. We had obtained a room to spend the night together, and when we came back,
Is this part of your lawsuit?
His friends.
Is this part of your lawsuit?
Yes.
Forget it.
Okay.
I want you to forget all the orange tabs, all the blue tabs, all this stuff. If you decide to support this relationship by going out for dinner, by taking out small amounts of money, $100, $200, $500, don't come crying to me. That's your stupidity. If you made a loan to him, then I'm prepared to hear it. Now, you say you loaned him $2,060 for something for his car and title?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that in one lump sum?
Yes, it is. It's the first cash advance that you will find on that statement that's marked yellow.
It's $2,000 plus a $60 finance charge.
Yes.
Okay.
And we paid.
Now, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah.
Let's come to you. Be very careful about your answer, sir. Did there come a time when you had some problems with something that had to do with your car and you needed $2,000?
No, I did not need $2,000.
Did she
my car
give you
title.
$2,000?
No, she never gave me $2,000. She gave me $1,600, Your Honor.
When?
I believe it was about 2 months after we started dating.
Tell me about it.
All right, we were driving around, and she said she wanted to go out of town for the weekend. And, you know, I was driving a car, and we pulled up to the bank, at her bank. I asked her, you know, what are we doing here? And she said, you need this money to pay off your car. And I told her specifically, you know, I didn't want to do it because I, you know, wasn't employed at the time, and I didn't have the money to pay you back.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
No, it isn't. And anyways, Your Honor, she insisted, you know, saying that I love you, don't worry about it, you know.
So you're driving
I'll give you
around,
the money.
going away for a weekend, is that right?
Exactly.
And she pulled up in front of, come on, continue.
We pulled up in front of the bank, and we had a, you know, small argument about the money. And I told her, if you wanted to give me the money, that was fine, I would take it. But I could not take it if it was a loan because I could not pay you back.
She's still in the car at this time, is that right? And you said, no, I can't pay you back.
Exactly.
And she said, no, I insist that you take the money because I want to help you.
Right.
Now, did both of you get out of the car to go to the cash machine?
No, just her.
And she was gone for a few minutes and she came back into the
Yes,
car?
ma'am.
What happened when she got back into the car?
She got in the car, and, you know, she asked me for my wallet, and I said, what for? And she says, just give me your wallet. So I gave her my wallet, and she put $1,600 cash in my wallet and said, here's, you know, for whatever you need to take care of. And I told her, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because that's on you. You know, I can't give you the money back. I can't promise you I'll give you the money back. And she said, no, don't worry about it. I love you. I just want to be with you, and I want to be, you know, you to be happy.
Okay. Shh. Don't say anything. Did you, in fact, go away that weekend?
We did. We left that later
afternoon?
that evening.
Where did you go on your weekend?
We went to Fort Bragg.
You went to Fort Bragg?
Fort Bragg, California.
What did you do there?
Just hung out.
Okay. Had she picked you up at your house, sir, or did you pick her up?
She picked me up.
What time of the day did she pick you up?
It was early in the morning.
And she drove you directly over to the bank?
Not at that time. You know, we hung out and were doing things and whatnot. And, you know, later on in the afternoon, she came up with the idea.
But you had had a pleasant morning together.
Yeah.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to, in a moment, get me the name of the best psychiatrists that we can find here, because this man clearly is psychotic.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She had given, you know, came over to my house in the middle of the night.
Right, and how much did she give you in the middle of the night?
She never gave me anything in the middle.
Well, then why did you say she did? What was in your mind?
I loved him. I know.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Erica Laughlin says ex-boyfriend Sean Campbell owes for a series of unpaid loans. Sean says the money was a gift. He is countersuing for slander and harassment.
Okay, Bird, I want to read you what he swore to in his answer about this $1,600. May I for a moment? I want you to indulge me.
I have nothing.
Mr. Campbell, I want you to indulge me. Stand up and get your hands off there. We dated for a total of a month and a half, and I told her I wanted to end the relationship because I had to concentrate on my divorce and getting a new job. About a month later, she showed up drunk at my house in the middle of the night. She begged me to get back together with her and told me she would take care of my bills. I told her I wouldn't be able to take her back, and she said she was doing it because she loved me and wanted to see me happy. At this time, she gave me $1,600 in cash. Duh!
Yeah, it's true.
What do you mean? This is true? So she gave you $3,200. She gave you $1,600 when she showed up at your house drunk one night, and she gave you another $1,600 when you were driving around on your way to Fort Bragg? Is
No,
that what
Your
you're
Honor.
telling me?
No, Your Honor.
Well, which story is correct, Mr. Campbell? The
Before-
story that you just told me, that you were driving around, she went to an ATM, she took out the money. Just listen to this. Listen to how careful he is. She asked me for my wallet. I took out my wallet. She put in $1,600. Or this psychotic drunk woman shows up in his house in the middle of the night and takes out $1,600 and puts it in his wallet. Which story is correct, sir?
Your Honor.
No, just I want you to tell me which story is correct. The one you swore to here, or the one you just told me?
The one I just told you, Your Honor.
Now, how am I supposed to tell which one is true, sir? This one you swore to. Now, you may have written your answer some time ago, but I assume if you did it some time ago, then your memory was fresher of the events than it is now at some later time. So how am I supposed to believe anything that you say, Mr. Campbell? Try to explain that to me.
Your Honor.
Mr. Campbell?
We had met at the nightclub.
Forget the nightclub. We're past the nightclub, sir. We're at the $1,600. Was she drunk in the middle of the night when she gave it to you, or were you sitting in a car on your way on a vacation when she gave it to you?
We were sitting in her car. After she came out from the bank, she got in the passenger seat and gave me the $1,600. Actually,
well,
she
where
put the
did you get this
$1,600
business with her being drunk in the middle of the night?
That was another time.
Another $1,600?
She had given me...
Go ahead.
She had given, came over to my house in the middle of the night, harassing me, saying that she wanted to get back together.
Right, and how much did she give you in the middle of the night?
She never gave me anything in the middle.
Well, then why did you say she did? Why did you swear to the fact that she did?
I didn't.
I didn't. Listen, when did he tell you he was married?
He told me he was married probably 2 weeks after we met. The first time we met, he said that he was single.
2 weeks, but you gave him this money well after the 2 weeks.
Right.
So what were you doing? What was in your mind?
I loved him. I wanted to help him. I know. I know.
What do you want from me? Did he go back to his wife?
Yes, he did. Yeah. He did. He went back to his wife, and I have a broken heart. So, there you have it.
A broken heart and a depleted bank account.
That's correct, ma'am.
And the only money you're going to get from him is the $1,600.
Ma'am, I have him on tape.
That said what?
That says he owes me money.
Oh, good. I want to see how much does he say he owes you. Maybe that'll help me.
He doesn't say how much, but he does admit to it. Can I play it?
Sure.
I don't know why you're not answering your phone, but I'm just calling to let you know that I told you I would try to pay you your money whenever possible. I've been having a lot of problems with a lot of stuff. My work cut my hours, and not making as much as I thought I was. So just to let you know, I haven't been dissing you. I have not been trying to ignore you. I've just been busier than cat covering dog busy. And, as soon as I can get any money that's extra, I will give to you. I don't have a problem with that. And, for what it's worth, I am sorry for not trying to pay off anything sooner. But like I said, I've had problems. I hope you understand that I do have other responsibilities too, just like you or anybody else. But I'm trying the best I can do, and that's all I can say. As far as you want to sue me, then it's
blah, 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 blah. Turn it off. So?
That wasn't about this, Your Honor. That was
What
about
was it
something
about?
completely different.
Well, tell me what it's about.
She had bought me some cigarettes, and she was mad because she was broke one weekend.
This is about a carton of cigarettes?
It's about a couple $100 in cigarettes, yeah.
Is that in addition to the $1,600 she gave you?
She had bought me on her own.
There's no such word as boughten.
She had bought.
That's better.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that in addition to the $1,600 she gave you?
No, it's not.
So that's included in the $1,600?
Yes, it is.
He doesn't
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you go to school in this country?
Yes, I did.
She gave you $1,600. You say that this is about something else, about other money that you owed her, and it was about cigarettes, because it says here, I'll pay you back as soon as I can. I have other expenses. So this is not part of the $1,600.
I never owed her $1,600 in the first place.
That's my decision, sir. That's my decision as to whether or not you owe her $1,600.
I owed her roughly $200 in cigarettes.
What did you get $200 in cigarettes for?
Just without the time that we were together. That's, what she had bought for me, when we were together.
Now I'd like to hear about your counterclaim.
Pardon?
Counterclaim! You filed a counterclaim, sir.
During the whole time after, I left her, she was constantly harassing me and my wife, calling me at work.
Tell me how she was doing that, sir.
She was calling my work out, all the time. She had her roommate's boyfriend calling me up at work, asking me questions why I left her. And
anybody asking you about money?
No, never.
That's a lie,
I
Your
didn't
Honor.
hear anything about any money until a month and a half almost after I had left her.
Yes, and what happened a month and a half?
She sent me a letter demanding that I was committing, I believe, fraud, and that
May I see the
I
copy
owed
of the
her
letter?
Do you want one copy or all three that I
over
sent to him?
I'd like to see all three.
$4,000.
And that's the receipt on top.
Don't get crazed with these little Post-its.
Just trying to be prepared.
I'm interested in something. Ms. Laughlin.
Yes.
You say in these letters that he owes you $4,200, and you're suing him for $5,000. Why?
There has been charges that have incurred since that time. I've just added on the interest as...
You had never had an agreement with him with regard to repayment.
We did have an agreement when he was saying that we had agreed to go. I went to the bank and just decided to get the money that day. That night before, he stayed at my house, and we had decided I would obtain the money to loan him.
How much money did you take out of the bank at that time? Was it $1,600 or $2,000?
$2,060.
That was the $2,060
That's
amount.
correct, ma'am.
Right.
We had made that agreement. I did give him $1,600 for his wallet so that we could go around town and pay his various bills.
And your counterclaim, your counterclaim is for this harassment, that she keeps calling you.
That's correct.
She called your wife. Were you present when she called your wife?
I was not.
What did she say
My
to you
wife
when
had
she
told
called
me
you?
that she had followed her
I'm
twice.
not interested in what your wife told you. That's hearsay. I would like you to tell me what she said to you to harass you.
Just that she would do anything and everything to get her money. And, you know, before she even, you know, pursued me with any money, you know, she was telling me and my wife that she would do anything and everything to get me back in the first place, that she loved me, and she didn't care what it took.
Listen, because she has bad taste, I can't hold that against her, sir. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,060, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She just wanted to get me back. She's jealous that I went back to my wife.
I believe the judge realized that he's a liar.
Be careful who you date.
Don't ever get involved with a married man.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Matsko versus Davila, step forward, please.
Painter Rich Matsko is suing ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old school teacher Julianne Davila for breaking an apartment lease.
Mr. Matsko, you and the defendant dated for a while. Then, according to your complaint, you were going to move in together. In order for you to do that, she had to break her lease.
Yes.
And also do a pet deposit where you were living?
No, where she was living.
Where she was living?
Yeah.
The whole thing came to about $2,600. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, she moved in, didn't last. She moved out. You say that this money was a loan, and you want your money back, right?
Yes.
You say he wanted you to move in with him?
Yes.
You had a lease?
Yes.
He said, break it. Let me see if I can put this together, make the story myself, because, you know, it's late and I have other things to do today. He said, break the lease, and you said to him?
I didn't want to.
And he said to you?
Move in with me. It'll be better.
And you said to him, it will cost me?
$2,600.
And you said, I don't have?
The money.
And he said to you?
That he would pay.
Shut quiet, please. I can't hear her testifying. Go ahead.
He said that he would pay it for me.
Right?
To break it.
And that's what happened?
Yes.
And you did that?
Yes, I did.
And you moved in with him?
Yes.
And how long did this romance last after you moved in?
Not even more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. You didn't
Not
get your $2,600 worth, right?
No.
That's the way it goes. Your case is dismissed.
In the matter of Saraceno versus Saraceno, parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. Saraceno, you are currently the trustee and I assume the executor of your mother's estate. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that was relatively recent circumstance because prior to that, your brother was the trustee and executor of her estate. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
When did your mother pass away?
She passed away on November 10th, 1998.
It was October 10th.
Or October 10th, I'm sorry.
When your mother passed away, one of the things of value in her estate was a house. Your claim is that the defendant, who is your niece, is living in the house, refuses to pay rent, and refuses to move out of the house.
That's correct.
You are suing her for $1,500 for rent. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
For what months, sir?
I became the trustee on January 10th, so I would want fair rent from January 10th to the present.
When did you first advise her that you wanted her to pay rent?
The beginning of February.
In January, you didn't tell her you wanted rent.
No, I did not.
He's never told me.
Shh. Did you tell her how much rent you wanted?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
How much did you tell her?
$400 a month.
And what did she say when you told her you wanted $400 a month?
She had talked to her father.
Who was your brother?
Who is my brother. She told me that he did not say that she had to pay rent and that she could live there without paying rent.
Okay. How old are you?
21.
What do you do?
I'm a telemarketer.
How much do you make a week?
400.
How long have you been a telemarketer?
For like 2 months.
What'd you do before that?
I did home care for elders.
Who else lives in the house?
My aunt and my cousins.
How many cousins?
2.
Your aunt, is that your sister?
Yes.
Does she pay any rent?
No, she does not, Your Honor.
Is that with your permission?
Not expressly, but as to this point, that would be fine, yes. I don't have a problem with that.
Is there any reason why you want your niece to pay rent?
Because the house has certain bills and obligations. It has taxes that it has to pay.
Why would, I'm just curious, why would you allow your sister and her children live there rent-free and not allow your niece to live there rent-free?
Because my sister has a drug habit, okay? She doesn't have anywhere else to go. The only other alternative is to put her out in the street, and I just don't have the heart to do that at this time.
And
Well, shh, I'm not finished yet. Well, you may not have the heart to do that, but you can understand why your niece says, why should my cousins be allowed to live rent-free in the house, and I not be allowed to live in the house rent-free when my aunt could work just as well as I can? She's a lot older than I am. She could work. And my uncle is letting his sister and her family live there rent-free. I love my grandmother, too. Why can't I live there?
That's a very good question. I have a very good answer, Your Honor.
I'm ready for you,
The
sir.
reason is she just recently moved into that house a couple of weeks ago. Before that time, she had her own house
Who's
that she
she?
was living in.
Who's she? I
My
didn't-
sister Carmela. She had her own house that she was living in, adjacent to my mom's house, and she was living there rent-free.
Your sister was living in another house of your mother's rent-free?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sell that house?
No, it's still in the trust.
Well, is there another tenant in there?
Yes, there is.
So you put a paying tenant in that house that more than covered the expenses on that house.
No, Your Honor.
Why don't you sell the other house?
There's a lot of legal fees. There are bills that have to be paid. There's a $6,600 electric bill that needs to be paid on my sister's house.
Why didn't you pay it? What are you taking that out on your niece for?
I am not complaining about that, Your Honor. I am just stating that her house
but-
cannot be sold because of that.
Because of an electric
Carmela's
bill?
house, my sister's house, yes.
It's not your sister's house. You said it's part of the trust.
None of them have been divided yet. She will get a share of that property.
Are the grandchildren mentioned as beneficiaries of the trust?
Teresa and Saraceno.
But 2 grandchildren, but not the defendant.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to take a look at your papers as trustee for
Okay.
property.
There you go.
Okay. Now, Ms. Saraceno, I have just a few questions for you. Do you work as a telemarketer every day?
Yes.
What do you work hours?
9 to 5.
And you work Monday through Friday?
Yes.
What time do you usually get up to go to work?
At 7 o'clock.
And you report directly to work?
Yes.
What do you do after work?
I come home and I make sure my cousin does his homework, and I make sure that his clothes are clean for the next day, and then I cook dinner.
You do that 5 days a week?
Yep. Yes.
The reason I ask these questions, which seem rather odd, even to Bird, right?
Yes.
Under the circumstances, is that this is your claim. You claim in your answer that your grandmother's will states that any member of the family, the Saraceno family, who continually puts flowers on her gravesite every Thursday may reside in the residence after her passing rent-free. That's what you say. And that is the basis of your defense.
Yes, but
Okay?
I have
So
this
let
as-
me see that clause in the will.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. John Saraceno says his niece, Bettina Saraceno, owes for unpaid rent. Bettina says the house belonged to her late grandmother, and it was her wish that she live there, rent-free.
This doesn't talk about you. You're not Teresa, you're Bettina.
But also right here, I have the,
This talks about 2 other grandchildren.
Yes, I know.
Not you.
This one I have right here, where it's highlighted.
Well, this doesn't say anything about placing flowers on your grandmother's grave every Thursday,
The
madam.
other, I know.
Doesn't say anything about that. All right, so that's not a defense. And this section that you're talking to me about says that the trustee has the right to sell the property, let somebody else live there, rent it. So it's within your uncle's discretion whether or not you can live there. You understand that?
Yes.
So there is no defense to this action. You have to either pay rent or he told you to move, which is very unfortunate. I mean, which is really very unfortunate, because I really think that you're being unfair and inequitable unless there was some reason you would think that your mother would not want this grandchild to have any benefit from her property. Is there any reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that?
The defendant has a drug habit.
So does your sister.
They both do, yes. And to be honest with you, I would want both of them out, but she doesn't pay rent. She doesn't do nothing. I told her to leave, and she would not do it, Your Honor.
You didn't answer my... Just a second. You didn't answer my question, sir. I'm asking you a question. I expect... Just a second. I'm not going to need this witness. She can step outside. If she needs water, go... Madam, do you need water? Do you need water?
No.
Go outside. Go outside. Don't cough here. Go, 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 go.
Your Honor, ask the question again. I will answer it.
Maybe you'll understand it better if I ask it to you this way. Did your mother have a relationship with the defendant?
No.
You didn't see her?
Very rarely.
Yes, she did.
How rarely is very rarely?
Maybe once every 3 months.
And what about your sister's children? They lived right next door?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your mother ever give you any indication that she was aware of your sister's drug habit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I live right across the street.
Listen, there is no question in my mind that your uncle is being unreasonable. He would not be unreasonable were he not to have permitted his sister, who he says is a drug addict, and her 2 children, to live in the home rent-free. But he is the trustee of this estate. It is his prerogative to tell you to move. That's his prerogative. I don't believe that you had an arrangement with her for rent. You didn't even become trustee until January 10th. And you did not tell her until February that you wanted her to pay rent. Is that right? And there was never an agreement to pay rent by her with you.
Correct.
He didn't tell me he wanted...
Shh. Listen, you're not losing, right? So there was never an agreement for her to pay rent. So what you have to do, Mr. Saraceno, is proceed with eviction proceedings against your niece, if that's what you wish to do, because absent a lease, either an oral lease, which you can have month to month, or a written lease, there is no contract, and therefore there is no contract that this court can enforce. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We just have friends come over, that's it.
It's like one big crack house, you know?
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Romanchek, Humphreys versus Romanchek. Step forward.
53-year-old homemaker Mary Romanchek and her fiancé, Stephen Humphreys, are suing Mary's son, 18-year-old student Jason Romanchek, for a car loan, a computer, and emotional distress. Jason says the car was a birthday present.
According to your complaint, the defendant, your son, took a car that was yours when he left your home, and in addition, he ruined a computer, and he gave you a lot of aggravation, so you want to be compensated for that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All to the tune of $5,000. So tell me first about the car, which your son says was a gift to him.
Okay, Your Honor, I have a receipt, but the car is mine.
Well, that's a conclusion.
Okay.
When was the car purchased?
It was purchased a long time ago. Jason stole the pink slip, and he stole the...
When was the car purchased? Do you know?
Around March 29th or so.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Now, the title to the car is in your name and your son's name. How much did you pay for the car?
$2,500 something, $3,000.
Ms. Romanchek?
Yes.
Your lawsuit involves a car. Get out the receipt for the car so you can show me how much you paid for the car.
Your Honor, I cannot give you receipts for the car because Jason took it.
Then you must know how much you paid for the car. How do you expect me to decide a lawsuit?
I have a little piece of paper in my suitcase that I didn't know I was needed that. A little piece of paper in my little black suitcase.
Get it.
Where is the suitcase?
I haven't a clue. I'm not a
She'll
suitcase
get it.
monitor.
Thank you.
Come this way, man.
Could I see the piece of paper, please?
And here it is, the price of what was in a vehicle.
This says you paid $7,450 for the car.
You must have the wrong one.
Oh, then I must have it. But I was purchasing 2 vehicles, Your Honor. One van for me, and second car for me is that little one, that little white car.
Did you give her the wrong one?
That's the only one I have because Jason took my...
Whatever. But this is very good that you showed me this, because this is very, very good. So at the time you purchased 2 cars, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You purchased a car for $7,450, and that was your car, and then you purchased another car, and then I assume you put the title to that car in your name. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, I put it on my name and my fiancé name, yes.
Fine.
Because we are going to be driving.
And the second car you purchased, you put in your name or your son's name.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say your son subsequently left the home. When did he leave your house?
August of 15.
And he took the car with him?
And no, not right away, Your Honor. Then he came back on August of 18 and brought a tow truck with him and cut 2 clubs. And
he took the car?
And he took the car, yes.
Jason, you say this car was a birthday present for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
They said I can use and keep the car as long as I keep good grades in school, which I have. And then an incident between her and her squirrel that she caught. I wasn't going to feed it because it was her responsibility.
To feed a squirrel?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And then she went all crazy over it. And then suddenly she just went in my room and just broke the keyboard off the computer. And then she just said that I had to leave or just do whatever she said.
So you left and you wanted to take the car?
Yes.
Who has insurance on this car?
Right now there's no insurance.
Who's driving it?
I'm driving it, but
Well, how can you drive a car that has no insurance, Jason?
I didn't want to get insurance because I don't know what the whole deal because of this court thing.
Did you change the title on the car?
We found out that we couldn't because she already changed it somehow.
You changed the title just to your name?
Yes, Your Honor. When Jason left, I went to...
Just a second.
Oh, sure.
You went to Motor Vehicles and had the car changed to your name only?
Yes, Your Honor.
So get the police to go and get the car.
What
do you want from me? I'm not going to make an order for him to pay you for the car.
I went with the policeman. He did not give it car to us.
He said it was a civil matter.
Yeah, the policeman said that.
No, it's not a civil matter. If you have the title to a car, you haven't gotten the complete title yet, because right now all that's there is a title that's in both names, right? But you went and changed that to your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you should get something like this, which has a title that is just in your name.
Any day.
Any day. Well,
Yes.
once you get it, go and get the car.
Yeah,
That's
Your Honor.
it.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Perfect. Now, tell me about the computer.
He got in it and took some parts. Here's the estimate what it cost for me to put my computer back together so I can use it again.
To her computer?
I took the parts that I purchased.
Which parts did you purchase?
I took RAM and the hard drive that I paid for.
From what money?
Well, my friend got it for me, but in trade I gave him a computer that I built by hand.
So you didn't pay for this part?
Not technically.
Not technically. And what other part did you take out?
The hard drive.
Isn't that an important part, Bert?
Very, very important.
I mean, I don't know anything about computers, but
That's
a
why we keep all that information.
hard drive sounds like a very important part.
More
What
than
made
that,
you
Your
take
Honor.
out the hard drive?
I purchased it.
How much did you pay for it?
30 or something like that.
Why did you take those things out if you knew that it would render the computer inoperable?
Because I paid for it at the time.
You were nasty. So if what you paid for was maybe $30 from all these things and you rendered your mother's computer inoperable, that was pretty nasty. Right?
I guess.
You guess, I'm telling you.
Your
Let me
Honor,
see.
I can tell you where he got the money to pay for it.
No, I don't want the computer, sir. I don't touch those
He
things.
got the money to pay for it. He took my part that he came with the computer. You ask him where he got the money? He sold it to my older son's wife for $100 to do the other thing. Then he took everything out. That's when you ask him about the money.
To put it back to the original way it was when it was new.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $990.
Certainly, certainly, he had no reason to incapacitate this computer. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, you just did it to be nasty. What'd you do with the 2 pieces that you took
Put
out?
them in my new computer.
You have any other children?
Yes, Your Honor. I have one older one, and he turned out pretty lousy. I don't
The
know
older
why.
one
He
too?
was no good. Pardon me?
The older one too?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
Mrs. Romacek, the car you have to go and get as soon as you get the title. And I suggest, just to be smart, madam, that until you get the car back in your possession, you keep it insured. I would strongly suggest that to you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just to be smart. He's your child. You want to protect your assets. I would suggest you put an insurance policy in effect on that car just to cover yourself. You're not getting any money for doing that, but you are going to get money for the pieces that he took out of your computer in the amount of...
Johanna. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Which one are you?
Mitchell.
Your first name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, that's not an appropriate way to come to court. If you ever have to go to court again, you don't come to court showing your midriff. Do you understand? It's inappropriate. That's much better. Again. Try it again. Good. Miss Morrow, you were at a friend's house. According to your complaint, these two girls took off in your car without your permission and wrecked it. You want them and their parents to be responsible for that.
Right. Okay.
And there is no question on the other side that you did not have her permission to drive the car at that time. Is that right?
I thought we did.
I didn't care what you thought. Neither one of you had permission to drive her car at that time. One of you took the keys and one of you was driving. Is that correct?
Yes.
So all you have to do, Miss Morrow, is hand me the estimate. The car's not running anymore?
No.
Okay, good. So I have the Blue Book breakdown for the car. Okay, you were at a friend's house. Your car is parked outside. Who's going to talk first?
I will.
Fine.
Okay, we were all at my house, and Nikki got mad at Brooke. Well, she wasn't really mad.
Nikki got mad at the plaintiff.
Yes, because of boy problems.
Could you keep your voice up, please?
I'm sorry. And she wanted to talk to me, so I said, let's go for a walk. And we went back in the house, and I told everybody that we were going to go for a walk, and she went back into, like, by my room. And we went back outside and walked around my house, and when we were walking outside my house, she handed me Brooke's keys. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, we're going to take Brooke's car. I said, well, does Brooke know? Because I don't want to take her car without her knowing. And she said, yeah, she knows. I asked her when we went back inside. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal because Brooke lets us drive her car all the time. So I was just like, okay, because she wanted to talk to me. So we got in the car and we started driving.
Who's we driving?
I was driving.
How old are you?
15.
So you have no license?
No.
Go ahead.
And we were driving around neighborhoods, and as I was making a left-hand turn, Nikki says to me, get on the curb and let's have some fun. And I was like, no, 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 don't be stupid. I don't want to get in a car accident. And as I was making the turn, she turned the wheel. I did not grab the wheel, Your Honor.
Don't speak yet.
And then we ran into the house. And
you ran into a house with her car?
Yes.
Idiot. All right, now let's see your version of what happened.
What happened was me and Jenny were outside of her house, and we were sitting there talking, and she was mad because of this guy that she was talking to, her ex-boyfriend. He was there, and he was getting ready to go to a girl's house, and she said, Nikki, go get the keys. And I said, okay. I went and got him out of the bathroom, and I came back and I handed them to her, and she said, okay, let's go. So we...
All right, let's stop right there. Miss, it wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. She told you to go get the keys.
Yes.
And you went into the bathroom. You didn't go to the plaintiff and say, can I have the car keys? Can I borrow your car?
No.
You just went into the bathroom. Now, where in the bathroom were her car keys?
They were on the sink.
And I assume you had seen them there before.
Yes.
Because that's not usually where you keep car keys, on the bathroom sink, right?
No.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 16.
So you went inside, did not get permission
No.
from anybody, just took the car keys, came outside, and gave them to your friend. Now, do you have a driver's license?
No, I don't.
So you took the keys, gave them to her.
Yes.
Unlicensed, and you took off.
Yes.
Now tell me what happened when you took off.
We went driving around, and we went into this country club area. It was really nice, and we were driving, and she said, let's go up on the curb. And I was like, you can do whatever, but be careful. And so she was going around a corner, and I guess she lost control and stepped on the gas instead of the brake, and we hit the house on the corner. And as soon as we had wrecked, she said, I accidentally stepped on the gas instead of the brake.
I never said that. It's not really what happened.
And then we got out and
All
we left.
right, now, which parent belongs to this genius? Stand up, please. Your last name is Mitchell?
Yes.
I would like you to, in 30 seconds or less, tell me why your daughter isn't responsible for half the damage.
Is not responsible?
Yeah.
She is responsible for half the damage.
That's right. Have a seat. You're Mr. Hanna?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me in 30 seconds or less why your daughter isn't responsible for half the damage?
For one, she wasn't the driver of the vehicle, and at 12:30 at night, I expect my daughter, when she's spending the night at a friend's house, to be at that friend's house and not be leaving. The next morning, when I went over to the house to pick the kids up, there's empty beer containers and a keg of beer in the living room floor.
What does that have to do with us stealing car keys and going for a joyride in somebody's car? Nobody's alleging that anybody was drunk.
I didn't
Your
say
daughter
that.
didn't say that she was drunk or the other girl was drunk. What does one thing have to do with another?
She wasn't driving the vehicle.
She stole the keys. She stole the keys. What word would you like me to explain to you?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I think that you're pretty stupid to have allowed, even in the past, either of these two girls to drive your car. And if you're going to do stupid things, you got to be prepared for the consequences.
And later today,
I banged on the roof of the car. I cursed at her.
He was enraged and asked me to open up my driver's side door. And I told him, "What are you, crazy? I'm not opening up my door."
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 19-year-old Brooke Morrow says former friends, 15-year-old Jennifer Mitchell and 16-year-old Nikki Hanna, stole the keys to her car and wrecked it. Jennifer and Nikki are blaming each other for the accident.
Okay, she stole the keys and gave it to the person who drove the car, and she went with her.
She didn't put a gun to her head and say, "You have to drive."
Let me explain something to you, sir. I assume that you are not in the legal profession. So let me explain something to you. If two people are walking in the street and they see a brand new car, and one of them says, "I'm going to Jimmy open the door. When I do, you get in and drive, and we're going to take this car for a drive." And that's what they do. They are equally as guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, your daughter went into a house, stole somebody else's keys, because when you take something without permission, that is a theft. Gave them to her co-conspirator, who happened to drive the car. But your daughter is 16, and your daughter knows that she doesn't have a license to drive a car, shouldn't be driving a car. So not only did your daughter steal the car keys, but she gave the car keys to somebody who she knew shouldn't be driving and got in the car and drove with her. So they are equally as responsible. I want to know who paid for the damage that was done to the house.
The homeowner's insurance paid for that.
What a shame. I would have loved to have had that case. When did you get this car?
August of 2000.
It was a gift?
Yeah,
Who bought it for you?
my grandparents.
How much did they pay for it?
$1,000.
Who did they buy it from?
My stepdad.
So they got a good deal, right? You got a good deal on the car because its present wholesale value is, according to this, $1,250.
Yeah, he knocked off a couple hundred.
Of course he did. Now, I have one question to ask you. Well, maybe two. Have you given permission at any other time for either of these two girls to drive your car?
Yes.
Why?
Just being nice. Just letting them, just for fun.
How old are you?
19.
I want you to listen to me very carefully. You risk everything when you let somebody drive your car that is unlicensed. Not only do you risk them having a serious accident and hurting somebody, and you would be responsible for that, but if they were in an accident, your insurance company wouldn't cover that. They would say, sue her. I assume you don't have a lot of money right now, but someday you will, and if you're going to do stupid things, you got to be prepared for the consequences. Anyway, I just changed my mind. I was going to give you the wholesale value of the car. I'm just knocking it down to $1,000 that was paid for the car because I think that you're pretty stupid to have allowed, even in the past, either of these two girls to drive your car. And I'm awarding you $1,000, and each of the girls will pay $500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They had ran my car into a house and it was totaled. I didn't touch the wheel. They stole it and wrecked it. And
She did. Grab the wheel.
we're not friends anymore.
No, we aren't friends.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Brosnan versus Rios. Step forward, please.
Food service worker Kathleen Brosnan is suing New York firefighter Stephen Rios for kicking her car in a fit of road rage.
Miss Brosnan, it is your claim that the defendant, while in a fit of road rage, caused some damage to your car by punching it or kicking it.
Yes.
You didn't know him before?
No.
You were just driving along a parkway?
Yes.
Is that right? Mr. Rios seems to acknowledge that he lost his temper on that day. He was having a bad day, but he said he caused no damage to your car. So, tell me when this happened.
On September 22nd.
Where?
On the Southern State Parkway.
Can you hold on one sec? Stand still, because you're making me a little bit woozy.
The Southern State Parkway at exit 17.
Did you get on at exit 17?
No. I was driving on the parkway and the incident had happened at exit 17.
What incident?
The incident where he had chased me and kicked my car.
Tell me about him chasing your car.
Okay. I was driving on the parkway on September 22nd. I was going to my boyfriend's job. And around exit 17, I noticed that Mr. Rios was a little bit too close behind my car. So I sped up a little bit to let him know that he was too close to me. And when I did that, he sped up too. And after he sped up, I went to turn on my right-hand signal to change lanes.
You were driving in the fast lane?
Yes. And I wanted to get in the right-hand lane over at the other side. And Mr. Rios did the same thing and almost cut me off. And then I proceeded to go into the next lane.
So you were driving in the fast lane, the strike speeding lane, the passing lane.
Yes.
And he was behind you, and then you got over to the middle lane.
Yes.
And he got over to the middle lane.
Yes.
And then you got over to the far right lane.
Yes.
The slow lane, the granny lane.
Yes.
Did he follow you over to the granny lane?
Yes, he did. And I proceeded to, I sped away to get away from him.
A little nervous? Okay, take a breath. What exit did you get off the parkway?
I got off the parkway at exit 32.
And what happened when you got off at exit 32?
When I get off at exit 32, I was ready to go to sit for a red light, and I didn't notice Mr. Rios behind me. Mr. Rios sped his car in front of mine to cut me off, and I slammed on the brake so that I don't cause an accident. And when he did this, he proceeded to get out of his van, and he cursed me and asked me to open up my driver's side door. And I told him, "What are you, crazy? I'm not opening up my door." So after this, he was enraged, and after that, he had kicked my car.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kathleen Brosnan says fellow motorist Stephen Rios chased her down and kicked her car in a fit of road rage. Stephen admits he lost his temper, but claims he caused no damage.
Okay. Now, what time of the day or night was this?
1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it was light out?
Uh-huh.
Can I see the damage to your car, please?
It's right there.
And you were driving alone?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Rios. Now I'll hear you, sir.
It certainly didn't follow her at exit 17 or 19 because I didn't get on the Southern State Parkway until approximately exit 26. I commute the same way. I've been driving here for over 22 years coming home from work. I observed the gray car get onto the parkway at somewhere around exit 27, I thought. They were one of those people, they're bobbing in the right lane, left lane, trying to get nowhere, going nowhere fast. At that point, I observed the car, what I perceived was probably going to try to squeeze in front of me with not enough room. So I tried to, move up a little bit so they wouldn't come in. They cut in front of me. After about maybe a quarter mile, we were 2 feet off each other's bumper.
No, we weren't 2 feet off each other's bumper,
right.
Mr. Rios. You were 2 feet off her bumper.
Right. She squeezed in front of me.
No, she squeezed in front of you, and then you were 2 feet off her bumper. You're not 2 feet off each other's bumper.
But there was maybe 20 feet between me and the car in front of me. So I perceived she squeezed in front of me with not enough room to be in a safe driving area.
I'm following you, but then you said you were proceeding.
Right. We
and you were proceeding, and you were on her tail.
Yes.
All right. I got it.
At that point in time, I didn't realize whether it was a guy or a girl. They were hitting their brakes. I decided to move into the right lane, get away from it. The car started making 4 or 5 attempts to actually cut me off. At that point in time, they were so close to me, I actually thought they made contact with my car. As we got up to exit 32, I saw the car get off the ramp. I followed them off the ramp, and right off the ramp, there was a stop sign. So I cut in front of the car and jumped out because I thought they were trying to get away. When I got to the window, I realized it was a woman, and she closed the window. She was cursing me, giving me the finger. So I banged on the roof of the car. I cursed at her and then drove away. At the next light, she was behind me now. She got out of her car and approached my window. I got out, we exchanged words in the street, and that was what I thought was the end of it.
By the way, what exit do you get off at to go to your home?
I get off at exit 42. I take the Parkway to the end, and then
Fine.
I have to continue
So you
further
actually exited the Parkway at that point to follow the plaintiff?
on. No, I did not exit to follow her.
Yes, you did.
You
You exited to follow the plaintiff.
I believe she had struck my car, so I got...
No, Mr. Rios, please. I don't want you to make up any story, sir.
I am not making
That's
up any
making
stories.
up a story.
No.
If you drive and commute every day, you know whether somebody hits your car or not. And you exited the Parkway because you were angry. That's not your exit.
I actually believed that she made contact with my vehicle, and I was scared for my life. I'd been commuting for over...
Shh, please. Mr. Rios, I read your answer. I mean, if you stick with your answer, maybe you'll be successful here today so that you won't get pulverized. Your answer was that you had a very bad day and that you lost your temper. Well, that's what you said.
No.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I did not say I had a very bad day.
Well, I would suggest, sir, your answer was you were returning from a funeral of a fellow firefighter.
Right.
Okay, on that day. That's a bad day. That wasn't an ordinary work day. That was a bad day. And you say you lost your temper. And you say you acknowledge hitting her car.
Yeah,
you acknowledge hitting her car. Your defense is that you didn't cause any damage.
I had been commuting for over 20 years, the same route. I've never had an experience like this in my life. And I actually thought she made contact with my car. She was so close to me.
Mr.
I
Rios.
followed her off the Parkway to stop her because I thought she was trying to get away. And then I banged on the roof of her car, yes.
Now, Mr. Rios, you followed her off the Parkway because you thought she was trying to get away.
Right.
Then you got out of your car, and what did you do?
I approached the car.
You got out of your car, and the first thing you did was approach her car.
Yes.
And what did she say to you?
She had the windows rolled up, and she was making gestures with the window closed up.
Okay, and then you hit her, according to you, the roof of her car, the hood of her car. Is that right? And then what is the very next thing you did?
I walked away.
You walked away where?
I walked to my car, got in my car, and actually drove away.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rios, did you tell me every single thing that happened from the time you followed her off the Parkway until the time you got back into your car?
Yes.
What happened, Mr. Rios, to your examining your car to see if it was damaged in any way? Where's that step, Mr. Rios? If what you say is true, that you followed her off the Parkway because you thought she had damaged your car, the first thing that you do once you cut her off is to take a look and see, is my car damaged or is my car not damaged? If my car is not damaged, then I get back into my car and I go away. If you're making up a story, which is exactly what you did, then you don't even bother to look at your car.
No, I'm not making up a story.
Does that sound logical to you, Bert?
Totally.
Totally. Let me see an estimate, please. Mr. Rios, you lost your temper. Lost your temper, you pay for the damage. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $543.15. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mrs. Jones, the defendant was your son's girlfriend for a
Right.
long time.
Yes.
How long did you live together?
5.5 years. No, not that long.
That's what she says.
I'm sorry.
And your son was in a tragic accident and was killed.
Yes, he
And
was.
what you want from the defendant is property that you say belonged to your son. It was your
Yes,
son's
ma'am.
property.
Yes.
The defendant says that they lived together for a long time. They accumulated property together. She has given you some of his personal property, but the rest she feels is hers. And she is also counterclaiming because she says you've been harassing her, and there is some property that you have that actually belongs to her, right? I assume you would not have brought your counterclaim if the plaintiff had not brought her claim.
Right.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I'm going to go to you for a minute. When did you and Mrs. Jones's son move in together?
Back in '97.
Okay. Tell me about the accident. Were either of you present when the accident happened?
Right after I was.
What was the date of the accident?
November 16, 2001.
And it was an automobile accident, is that right?
No, ATV, four-wheel terrain vehicle.
Okay. What items of personal property do you want?
He has a ring from Sealy Company, a gold ring that they had given him. Literally what I have right now is I had his work clothes, which were junk.
His work clothes, yes.
They're junk. I mean, they're holes.
Right.
I can do nothing with them.
Go ahead.
things that I want back are the things that I was part of his life for, that he had bought.
Well,
himself.
talk to me. I so far hear a gold ring. This
There
is a court.
stereo equipment.
His stereo equipment?
Speakers,
Just a minute,
amplifiers.
Just a minute. Stereo? So far that has no sentimental value at all. What's next?
PlayStation, all his games. These were his things that he would have given to his nephews.
How old was your son when he passed away?
He was 26.
When did he buy the stereo?
Just within the last couple of years.
When he was living with the defendant?
Yeah, but everything he bought, I'm willing, if she has receipts, they'll probably fall on the credit cards that I've been paying for the last 3 years.
Why have you been doing that?
Because he was paying for her truck a lot. She kept getting it repossessed, didn't have the money to make her truck payments, so he would make her truck payments, then he wouldn't be able to pay his bills.
So he'd come to you and you'd make gifts to him?
No, not gifts. He had him pay him back.
Did he pay you back?
Not all of it. He died before.
Well, no court is going to go through all those bills and figure out what he paid and what he didn't pay. I mean, these people lived together for, let's say, minimally 5 years. They had a home together. I mean, I can understand as his mother you might want certain sentimental things, but let's proceed with the list that you say. We have a stereo, we have a PlayStation. Go ahead, what else?
VCR, his DVD, his nice clothing that he had that wasn't all tore up. There was a lot of Dale Earnhardt collectibles that I had bought in him.
Yes, race cars. Go ahead.
He collected all things that I had bought in him through the years for Dale Earnhardt.
That you gave him as gifts.
To my son.
That you gave him as gifts.
Yes.
Once you give him things as gifts, they're gifts. What else?
He had car amplifiers, which were at one time in my truck. He had a cash box full of credit cards, which I had to call credit card companies because she kept those.
So you called the credit card companies and canceled them?
Yes.
Go ahead, Miss Jones.
I mean, he had all of his clothing, everything that was important to me, what David was into, and everything that was important to him.
Everything that was important to your son, he shared with the person he lived with, Miss Jones.
Well,
the only thing that you said to me that in any way moves me is a gold ring. A gold ring that may have had some sentimental value for you. A stereo doesn't have sentimental value. Neither does a VCR, a DVD, a car amplifier. Put my glasses on to see what else. A PlayStation, even small race cars don't have sentimental value for you. I can understand you wanting to have something that belonged to your son that you can keep, that you can hold, that you can put in a box.
Well,
the only thing that would be is a ring. The rest of the stuff only has monetary value.
When this first happened, when David first passed away, Melissa asked me if she could use David's things because I had went down and got it from circuit court, so I was taking care of his estate.
Let me see what you have from circuit court.
And she asked me, could she use his things?
Let me just a minute.
Of course I said yes, she could.
I want to see what it says here.
Okay.
Okay, all this says is you can act as his voluntary administratrix. Was there any insurance or any other settlement as a result of this accident?
Life insurance?
Any insurance, any lawsuit, any money?
Life insurance.
Okay, and who was the beneficiary?
I was.
Okay, and how much was the life insurance policy?
$40,000.
Okay, so you got $40,000, so that the sum total of his estate was the $40,000.
Well, there was another insurance that he had through J.C. Penney, accidental death and dismemberment,
yes.
And that was $125,000.
And who got that?
I did.
Okay.
He left everything to me.
Fine, and you got all that already.
Right.
So why are we here? I don't understand why we're here.
Because these were his things. She made an agreement with me. She said, in her exact words, when I move out of this house, I will return everything of Davis to you. And I believed her. I took her for her word, which, when she did move out of the house, she did leave the things. The next morning, they were gone.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She said, I want these things, and if I don't get these things today, I will kill your daughter, and she will come home in a body bag.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Margaret Jones is suing her deceased son's girlfriend, Melissa Filarecki, for the return of his belongings. Melissa says Margaret already has everything.
All right, I'll hear you. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I do have the ring for her.
Can I see it, please?
Yes, you may.
You say it was a gold ring?
It's supposed to be.
What does it say on it?
From the Ceiling Mattress Company.
What was it for?
He was Employee of the Month many, many times. Many
What
times.
else do you have in the bed?
I have the list of stuff I left in the apartment for Margaret.
Can I see it, please? What else was in the bag?
Oh, just pictures, and I have a pin that he got from Celia. Yeah, you want the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Did the defendant give you the following? Necklace, charms, class ring, and keychain with baby pictures on it.
Yes, those I got. Those were things I gave my son, yes.
She gave them back to you?
Yes, she did.
A teddy bear with a graduation year on it.
That I don't remember.
Title to a motorcycle, a 1998 four-wheeler Rabbit.
Title's in his name, yes.
She gave it to you?
They were in his name.
Dale Earnhardt Collectibles.
No, there's only a few pieces.
But she gave you some?
She gave me some of them.
A home gym?
Yes.
Coffee table
No.
he made in high school?
No, I haven't seen that.
Your Honor,
Yes.
it was not left on the back porch. The door was broken off.
Camcorder?
Yes.
All the Christmas decorations?
No.
Model cars?
The only model cars that I know of, and I don't have them, is the cars that I bought for him, but I don't have them now.
Raiders collections?
That's three-quarters away going too. There's only a few pieces left of that.
Car parts, stereo, and speakers?
No.
What'd you do with those?
They left everything on the back porch.
Nope.
Listen, in the 5 years that you were together, did you exchange gifts?
Yes, we did.
Were you both employed?
Yes, we were.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was a certified nurse's aide, and I also went to school full-time.
When you leased these apartments together, did you purchase things for the apartment together?
Yes, we did.
And you kept a stereo and a VCR and a DVD?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a cash box that you know about?
That's where I got the ring, and I do have the credit cards with me.
Okay, you can give those to her. She's already canceled them. Ms. Jones, I'm going to tell you the following, and then I'm going to very quickly address your counterclaim. When somebody dies, an easier emotion to deal with is usually anger.
Yes, ma'am.
You said yes. Do you really understand what I mean? The sadness, is this your daughter?
Yes, it is.
You see, it's much easier to be angry at somebody than to be hurt and feel sad, because you can vent it out. You can get it out. Whereas dealing with the sorrow of somebody's death is much more painful. Whether they had a good relationship or a bad relationship, your son was together with this woman for 4.5 years, and he was a young man. So for the better part of really his adult life, they were together. They were a couple. Whether you thought they were good for each other or bad for each other, it's irrelevant. She was part of his life for a very long time. She tried to do the right thing with you. I mean, if you're talking to me about this ring, you're talking about not a gold ring. I don't even think it's a silver ring. It's a ring that says Celia on it. She's giving it to you. There's a pin there that also was an Employee of the Month pin. She's giving that to you. It's easier to be angry at her than to either accept certain responsibilities that you might feel for his death, maybe his sister, because this accident was with an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle.
Yes.
Were you there?
I was on
She was involved in it.
I mean, I could tell from looking at her that there's more than just grief there, so many months away from the incident, that there may be a little bit of guilt attached.
Right.
Maybe. But that's not her fault. That's not her fault. Nothing's going to bring your son back. Certainly a stereo, a VCR, and a DVD are not going to bring your son back.
Nothing can bring my son back. You're right.
Right. Nothing. Not the $125,000 you got from one insurance policy or the $40,000 that you got from the other insurance policy. Not a VCR, a DVD, and his clothing. They're not going to bring him back.
Well,
These are little mementos that she says you can have.
told me before she didn't have them.
Oh, well, here they are.
Can I speak,
And
Your
I
Honor?
want you to have them. That's all. You can give these back to the plaintiff. Do you want to proceed with this counterclaim that you have for harassment, or you just
Yes.
want to say, listen, let's try to be friends?
No, I do.
I'm listening.
I have the police report. She called and threatened my mom that my mom was going to know.
Is your mother here?
Yes, she is.
Tell me your name.
Linda Villarecki. I'm her mother.
You want to tell me about this phone call that you got from the plaintiff?
Yes, it was a day or two after Melissa moved back home. I had gotten a phone call from Margaret wanting to speak to Melissa, and I wasn't sure who it was. And I asked who she was. She said, Margaret. And I said, Margaret, she's not here. She's working right now. And she said she promised to give me David's PlayStation and surround sound, and she had mentioned things, and I said, Margaret, I would never want to be in your position that you're into. I said, I would never want that. She said, I want these things, and if I don't get these things today, I will kill your daughter, and she will come home in a body bag, and she will know how it feels to lose a child. And I said, Margaret, I would never want to be in your position. And she just went, she was out of control, and I just hung up on her.
Anger is a much easier thing to deal with than sorrow, because she's able to lash out at you rather than dealing internally with the sorrow of the event and the sorrow of the loss.
But I was worried that she was so upset that she had, it was possible.
And you made a police report?
Yes.
Can I see the police report, please?
And Your Honor, I also missed 2 weekends of work because I also waitress on the weekends.
In Troy.
In Troy. And my boss wrote me a letter.
I don't read letters from bosses. This report is dated in June. Is that right?
Yes.
The police did ask her not to try to stay away from Troy as much as she could for a while until Margaret did calm down.
Did the police come to your house, Mrs. Jones, and speak to you?
No, they did not, Your Honor.
They should have.
I have my police report here where they for larceny, and I never bothered her at her job.
I didn't ask you about your job.
house.
I'm talking to you about this phone call. I believe her mother that you had this conversation with her.
I had a conversation with Melissa when she called me
No,
3 or
with her
4
mother.
times.
I'm talking with her mother.
3 or 4 times she's called me.
Did you understand
Yes,
what I
ma'am,
said?
did.
I'm talking about the conversation with her mother. I absolutely believe her mother when her mother says to me that you said, unless I get these things back, you're going to see your daughter in a body bag, then you'll know how it feels. What kind of thing is that to say? It's only because you're angry.
They were never together that length of time either because she had left and went with another guy for a while. The first night of his wake, she had another man sleeping over. And I'd say just about every week after that, there was a different guy in there.
Let me explain something to you. I don't believe that.
That's the honest to God truth.
I don't believe that. Just as I don't believe that you took $165,000 that you got when your son died, right, and went and blew it in Las Vegas.
What?
I wouldn't believe that because you don't look like that kind of person. You look like a reasonable kind of person. And I'm looking at her, and I don't believe that she brought another guy to his, she may have brought another person who was a male to his wake.
No, excuse me.
Let's not. You have an anger, and I'm trying very hard to be nice to you.
I know you are.
I am really trying very hard to be nice to you. Your daughter was involved, at least in this incident.
Yes, she was.
You and your brother, how far apart in age are you?
Almost twin.
So it was very difficult for you.
She has
It is very.
It was very difficult for you. And you actually saw the accident.
He was helping me.
He was helping you when it happened. So you have a certain guilt, right? You have a certain guilt. I understand that. Don't be mad at her. There's no reason to be mad at her. For over a TV, over a VCR, over a stereo. Listen, your son moved out of the house when he was how old?
19.
That's very young to move out of the house. There has to be a reason for that.
He lived right downstairs from me.
I don't care whether
with
he
his
lived right
girlfriend.
downstairs.
With
There's
his-
a reason a child moves out of the house when they're 18 years old unless they go away to school.
No, he moved down
These
with
days,
his girlfriend.
now you can't get rid of them until they're 35.
Well, actually, Judge, he swore he'd never leave again, and he's always stayed by me. And she can even tell you I came first in his life, always.
Well, I want to tell you something. That's not healthy. That's not healthy for a 26-year-old man to have to say, my mother comes first in my life and she always will.
Because I always helped him when he needed help. I always tried to guide him to do the right thing.
That's what you're supposed to do. So you're not supposed to tarnish his death with this kind of stupidity lawsuit. It's stupid.
That's right.
A
I didn't do
VCR, a television set should not bring you to court. You should say whether they were together a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. There were certain periods of time when they brought each other pleasure, when they cared for each other. She knows how much he cared for you. She knows how much he cared for you. You're supposed to just be a nice lady. So you got the sentimental things back that I think that she was nice to give back to you, that you have. They're yours. I want you to forget about a VCR. I want you to forget about a PlayStation. And I want you to forget about your counterclaim. She's not thinking rationally. Do you understand? You understand? It's going to take some time because the truth of the matter is, whether you have found another person or not, I certainly hope you have because you're supposed to move on. You're a young woman. She will never get over the death of her child. You don't get over the death of a child
You sometimes get over the death of a partner, a maid, a boyfriend, you know, because you move on with your life and you find someone else to fill that void. She's never going to fill that void, but you have to fill that void with something other than anger, because it's not healthy.
I know.
It's not
I
healthy.
know.
It's not healthy. Make up. Be nice with each other. Your cases are dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks have seats, please.
Mrs. D'Amico, the defendant is your former husband, and this must be one of your children.
This is my son, Brandon.
According to your complaint, your son Brandon was living with his father for a period of time, then came back to live with you.
Exactly.
It is your claim, one, that his father refuses to return some of his personal property, and two, that Brandon received some sort of a Social Security check, and that his father kept some of that money after he had returned to your home. Is that right?
That's true, Your Honor.
Mr. Aquino says that the things that were purchased for his son are in his home. He can come and use them whenever he wants to use them, and that he had some sort of an arrangement with his son to pay for some of that stuff, and he didn't pay for them, so Mr. Aquino kept some of his money.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. When were you divorced?
In 92, August.
How many children do you have?
3 children.
Give me their names and ages, please.
I have Nicolina, who's going to be 20, Eric, who's going to be 19 in December, and Brendan, who's 16.
Okay. When you were divorced in 1992, the children were living with whom?
With me.
For how long?
Since that time, Your Honor, I had physical custody of the children.
At this time, am I correct, according to you, that 2 of the children are living with you?
Yes, Your Honor. And the date of divorce was 93 of July. The date was incorrect.
Okay, well, I have the papers here, and it's part of the file. Regardless.
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Are 2 of the children currently living with you?
Eric and Brendan. Brendan left the home.
No, listen to me.
Yes.
You're not following my question. You're not receiving. You're thinking about an answer. Are 2 of the children currently living in your home?
1 of the children are currently living in the
Who?
home. Eric.
Where is your daughter?
Nicolina had left, and I don't know where she went.
Your Honor.
Is Nicolina living with you?
Well, on and off, Your Honor. She's 20 years old. She's liberated. She goes back and forth.
But she was for a period of time living with her father?
Yes, until he threw her out.
Okay. Stop playing with your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Just a second. I ask questions,
sorry.
you answer them, then I make a decision. That's the way we go here. It's comfortable for me. I'm
Okay.
used to routine. All right. Now, when did Brendan go and live with his father?
The end of June 2001.
And when did he return to your house?
June 2002.
Why did he leave your house?
He had an argument with me. At the time, I was imposing a curfew.
He had an argument with you.
Right.
Went to his father. What kind of Social Security check does Brendan get?
Well, the father receives Social Security disability, and Brendan gets a stipend from the government based on Darren's record.
What's the nature of your disability? Is it a physiological disability
it's
or
physical,
a psych?
Yeah, it's
or
a multiple physical, Your Honor.
Multiple physical?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been on disability?
Since 1987.
Okay. What things do you claim that are in your former husband's house that belongs to your son?
Main items were TV, VCR,
Just a minute.
PlayStation.
TV, VCR, what else?
Several electronic games, all his clothing, all his shoes, which I have a list of, Your Honor, right here.
But there was a TV, was a VCR, and was a PlayStation that you took to your father's house?
Yes.
And are they still at your father's house?
Correct.
Why?
Why? Well, Your Honor, he left that house in a very bad way. He was thrown out at 4:30 in the morning by her. We had to go pick him up. He didn't speak with her for 6 months.
Mr. Aquino, listen to me carefully, sir. Are there any items that you have in your home that you personally purchased for your son after June of 2001 when he was living with you?
Oh, sure.
What?
I have PlayStation 2, is it?
Just a second. PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
What else?
Xbox.
Xbox. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Clothes from Old Navy.
Okay.
That are still brand new in the packages.
Exactly.
Listen to me.
Yes.
5 days from today's date, all of his property, so far with the extension of PlayStation 2 and Xbox, are to be quiet, are to be packed in a box. That all, quiet, that all goes back to your son. Now, I will give you 30 seconds to convince me that that is not going to happen.
Okay, Your Honor, there is lots of complications at that household. Many of the children have had abusive treatment by the mother.
Care. Mr. Aquino,
Your Honor.
pay careful attention, sir. Your son is 16 years old.
That is correct.
Which means he is still a minor.
That is correct.
Should you wish to contest custody
I am
of your
doing so.
child, you're not receiving, you're speaking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Should you wish to contest custody of your child, you go to the appropriate family court. They will conduct a hearing with regard to whether or not he gets to stay where he wants to stay at age 16, whether it's not in his best interest to be with his mother. In the meantime, all of his property that he came to you with goes back to him. Keep going. I don't want to hear about abuse. I don't want to hear about neglect.
Your Honor, right now as we speak, an attorney is filing a document in Nassau County Family Court to restore him back to a stable lifestyle, which I set up for him. He did not go back to her in June. He went in August to visit. She's misinforming you. She's also filed other documents that are falsified, which I would like this court to consider that she made fraudulent statements to the Family Court of Queens.
Mr. Aquino, I want you to pay attention to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
I sat in the family court, the state of New York, the city of New York for many, many years, Mr.
I know.
Aquino.
That's why I was confident
So
here
I'm
today.
telling you, and I'm going to tell it to you, for the moment at least, without your son here. Wait outside. Wait outside. Fast, fast.
Whoa.
I have things to do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, he lived with me.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in September.
But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
doubt it.
I doubt it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Deborah D'Amico says ex-husband Darren Aquino won't return their son's belongings. Deborah also claims Darren has been withholding money from their son.
Now, one of the problems when you deal with 16-year-olds is they're very mobile. They get to go where they want to go.
Yes.
Usually when a child is over the age of 12, a family court judge in hearing a petition for custody is going to make a determination that, yes, it may be true that you present the more stable home for this child. However, if he says to the judge, there's no way that I want to go and stay with my father. I want to stay with my mother for whatever reason. And the judge is going to say, listen, what am I going to do? He's 16 years old. He can get on a bus. He can get on a train. He can take off. Where am I going to put him? So before you spend a whole bunch of money, you might be as well served if you got into some family counseling with him to try to resolve some of whatever problems exist. Because sometimes it's an exercise in futility to try to tell a 16-year-old where to live.
I understand
Not going to
that,
happen.
Your Honor.
In the meantime, it doesn't serve you well to keep this stuff as sort of ransom because it makes your son angry with you.
Yes, Your
It's
Honor.
not a good idea. Forget about his mother. I don't know if she's good or bad or a good mother or a bad mother, a psycho or not. I don't know. All I'm telling you is you have a child
Absolutely.
who right now is mad at you because you have his TV. You have his Nintendo. You have his PlayStation. All stupid things. Stupid things, but he's angry with you for that. And if you want to open a dialogue, you're smarter not to be stubborn and say, here, you want it? These are just things. All right, now I'm going to let you speak.
Your Honor, the reason I kept those things is because it was not settled that he's there. In my fight to get him back, because of the complications with the new fella in her life, now her husband, Brendan showed to myself and to my future wife these dissatisfactions and expressed to her more than me because he bonded with her as a second mother figure, which is good. It's good, okay? My concern is that these things that she shows him with the counseling, Your Honor, I've suggested that. She would interfere.
Your Honor.
She told Judge
liar.
of the family
He
court
is a liar.
who you probably know.
Right.
He got up. I've never seen a judge get up in rage with veins popping, yelling at her to shut up, that he makes the rules.
That is not
She
true.
interferes.
This man
This
has
is my
taken me to
interest.
court in 20 years.
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor, I must say this because I've
She's
been
cutting me
carrying
off
it for
as
20
usual.
years. This man has made false allegations, has used the judicial system to work for his benefit. He makes
You're right.
people lie for him. I am an upright citizen, a good mother. I've been taking care of my children
You
since
filed a
I'm
document
divorced.
forgery
And
in
I
the
have been
Supreme Court.
supporting them since. The man doesn't even pay child support.
Not
He is
supposed to.
a
We have an
loser,
obligation
Your Honor.
not to do that.
And the man is making up
Because of
lies here, and
fraud.
he's telling you this that like it's so, and it's not true.
Mr. Miko, what I'm telling you is, if you listen, I said, I don't care any of the stuff he's giving me. I'm telling him he's got to return the stuff.
I am so glad you did that.
Period.
I am so
End of discussion.
honored.
Because, Mr. Aquino, it's not the right thing to do
Yes, Your Honor.
to further alienate your 16-year-old by keeping property that he deems his. Now, let's move on. That's finished. Let's move on to the second part of it, which is $391 a month. I am assuming, because I'm not going into this, that
was a recent increase, Your Honor.
Whatever it is. You acknowledge that you kept some of his money because you say the last insurance benefit I received, it's not insurance,
No.
Mr. Aquino. It's my money. It's Bird's money that we pay to support you because you're disabled.
No, it's my money that I paid into the fund.
How old were you in 1987?
28, I think.
28? And you've been collecting now for 15 years. So you've been collecting more than you worked, and you're going to collect for another 20 or 30 years. Believe me, it's not your money you put into the fund, it's Bird's money.
Thank you.
You say thank you.
So
You misused their
Mr.
money.
Aquino,
Yes,
pay
Your
attention
Honor.
to me. Believe me, I've been around the block longer than you have, Mr. Aquino.
Yes, Your Honor.
Trust me. So it's not insurance money.
No, ma'am.
It's
not.
Bird's money that went to your son that you kept, and you kept at a time when he wasn't living with you because you
Not
acknowledge
so.
that.
Not so, Your
No,
Honor.
no, that's what you
no,
said.
No.
That's
He
what you
took
said.
it in advance, Your Honor, to buy those sets. He says, Dad, can I have this money to buy the box and
Just a sec.
August check?
Shh. I want you to be quiet. I got you now. Let me see. So what you're saying is he took... Quiet, Mr. Aquino.
I can't tell you if I'm quiet.
Mr. Aquino, what you're saying to me, sir, is that your son took an advance on his Social Security disability payment.
My Social Security disability
His.
payment. His beneficiary payment.
Bird's money. So that he could buy a PlayStation 2 and other electronic games.
And the cassette.
Wrong. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Listen to me, sir. If you, as his parent, choose to purchase electronic games for him, you don't make the choice unless it's out of your money. Now, if he's living with you, and because you say, well, you're going to
He
get
was
his check
living
next. Mr. Aquino, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, sir. Because there may be something physiologically wrong with you, but there's nothing psychologically wrong with you,
That is
except you're a little
correct.
bit of a hustler. And when you say to me, quiet, and when you say to me he took an advance so that after he moved out I kept that money, I'm telling you that that's a hustle. Now, he moved out according to you in August.
That's
According
correct.
to his mother in June, according to you in August. Did you keep August's benefit?
August benefit went to her.
Your Honor, I got copies of the 2 checks
Can I
that
see it,
got.
please?
I got statements to Social Security, too, of the misuse
These
of
are
the
the
funds
2
that
checks
she's had.
that I did
Okay?
receive since Brendan has been back with me.
Brendan has never received any use of his money while in Deborah's care.
Just a second. He's not supposed to get the money, Mr.
It's for the
Aquino.
parent to use.
It's not for the parent to
his
use.
Quiet.
support.
Quiet. He is not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino.
At an age.
He's not supposed to get the...
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
He's not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino, until he reaches his majority. At 16, he is still a minor, which is why you can go to the family court to try to get custody of him, because he's still a minor. He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes. He lived with me. What do you mean? He lived with us.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in
Yes.
September. He didn't live with you in August.
Of what year?
2002.
No, he did not. But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
doubt it.
I doubt
don't.
it.
I doubt it.
When they see the fraud that she committed in the courts,
I know
I
he makes
doubt
allegations of
I don't doubt it. You filed
I'm
a false
talking-
document in Supreme Court.
You received August's check of 2002?
It
That's what it
indicates
says.
on the check I received
August 2000.
August.
To me, you have August and you have October, and I don't. You had better find out from them what happened for September, because they skipped
Your Honor, they're
September.
a month behind. You get the previous month when
I
they
don't
send
want
it
you
to
to
you.
interrupt me again. You
No,
may interrupt
Your
her. You don't
Honor,
interrupt me.
You're
Trying
wrong.
to explain
No,
the checks
don't
and how they
explain
come.
anything. Don't
I'll
explain
tell you
anything.
what
They're my
happened.
benefit.
I'm not
I'll explain how
interested.
they come.
Pay attention.
Let me make that
You have
clear.
August, and according to you have October.
You go to them and find out where September
They
is.
told me they reissued it back to Darren because he went to the Jericho.
Show me proof. Show me proof.
Well,
that
I
they
don't have
reissued it
proof.
to
I
him.
only have proof that I applied 2 times to be payee within the course of the past several months. I can show you that, Your Honor.
Just a second. Mr. Aquino, you've been sworn today, and you testifying, sir, under oath, that you did not receive September's check for your son.
Check. I didn't receive September's check. Did it come into the... She does the... It goes into a direct deposit.
Just a second. Did you receive September's check?
No, Your Honor.
Did you receive a check in October?
No, Your Honor.
You have not received the check since August?
Correct.
I have maybe a possibility why that is, Judge.
I don't care why it is. You said that you did not receive it.
That is correct.
Your fiancé said it did not come in. That's under oath. Very easy to get a
I
tape.
have letters here indicating that he was changed, the payee was changed to
Listen
his
to
name
me
again.
very-
So he would have had to have gotten the check somehow, either by direct deposit
Your
or
Honor,
the mail, Your Honor. I have
They're
2 notices
suspending
here
the
from
check
Social Security.
because of the problems
No,
with
they're not.
Debbie.
No,
And
Listen
my
to me, Mr.
contact with the
Aquino.
office. Yes.
All I'm saying to you is, and I want you to be quiet and stop moving from side to side, sir.
I have a limp, so I
No.
can't
You're
stay.
nervous because you're hustling me a little
No,
bit.
I'm not hustling
Okay?
you, Your
You're
Honor.
nervous because you're
I
hustling
wouldn't
me a
hustle
little
you. You're
bit.
too
Oh,
sharp.
Your
okay.
Honor,
Yo,
I
yo,
wish
yo,
you
yo,
would
you're
please
too
look
sharp
at
for me.
these.
Right.
Your Honor.
Miss,
These
I'm
two
going to throw you both out.
I'm sorry, Your
I'm
Honor.
throwing you both
Throw her
out.
out.
Now, 5 days from today, you are to get all of the property packed up. You make arrangements to have it picked up by a third party, a mover or whatever. With regard to the money, take it up with Social Security. Now, let's get to your counterclaim, which is nonsense. Mr.
Nonsense?
Aquino, it
Why
is
you
your
say it's
claim. It is
nonsense,
your
Judge?
claim. Shh, quiet. You say that you paid legal
Not
fees
true.
for your son Eric when he was in trouble last year. Is
No.
that right?
Eric was 18. It's for a charge when he was 16.
Yeah.
While he was living in her care.
Yeah.
That these things were concealed from me, and then at the end, she dumps him on my lap and says, now you take care of it. Take care of what? I said.
Right.
I supported him. We have an obligation under the court, Your Honor.
What is it that you paid for him?
$3,000. We
Yeah.
assigned it over to Anthony, you probably know the name, as Eric's counsel.
Who hired the lawyer?
She asked me to go and call my friend Anthony.
No, just a second. She asked you to go and call your friend,
Right.
who is a lawyer.
We were going to have legal
Shh,
aid
shh,
for
shh,
him.
shh, shh, shh.
Yes,
And you did that.
yes. And she also
Shut
met me at the court.
Shh. Don't volunteer. Just answer my questions. Where did you get $3,000 from?
I'll let Stephanie answer that.
No,
Stephanie
I don't
took it
want
from her
Stephanie to answer it. I want you to answer it.
Okay. Stephanie took it out of her IRA.
Should have let legal aid represent him, sir.
That's what I said.
That ain't what she said.
That's what I
Absolutely.
She pleaded with
okay.
me and cried.
This case is resolved as follows. 5 days from today's date, all the property is to be returned to your son. It's very unfortunate that you can't put a period to the end of all of this heartache and
I'd
say,
like to.
shh, and say, for the sake of all the children and maybe grandchildren to come, we're going to get along here. Maybe we should all get together and try to be cooperative and try to work together as a family. That's not going to happen.
That would be wonderful. but
Good.
that's
Give
a
him back his
fantasy with her.
stuff, and that's it. Goodbye.